Snaps one. Burke was backed up way into his net and just missed. They score! Takes a weird hop off the boards. They score again! Oh my! Denmark has the lead. Bowmeister now lifts it towards the net and scores! Tie game 2-2. Denmark has tied Canada. A shocking result. Leaves it for Vanek. Vanek snaps a shot. He scored! That's the goal, and it is 2-0.
Oh, I've seen this story before.
As Cook marches in, short-handed, scores! Morris fires another shot, then scored! All square, 2-2. The Austrians are going to get a tie out of Team Canada.
Well, after a disappointing opener in terms of performance for Team Canada, a 2-2 draw with Austria, they meet up with Team France, a team that has yet to score a goal in 2 games at the World Hockey Championships. Top of the morning to you. Good evening, I guess, to some of you out on the West Coast. A very early one. Dave Reed along with Rod Black. Welcome to the World Championships. A bittersweet day for Canada the other day, Dave, because of that tie with Austria. They were fortunate to get the tie, though, and I think they were happy that they were able to make that comeback. They really ramped it up in the third period.
They did, and that's what they've got to build on starting in this game today. They can't worry about the middle of the game. In game 1 against Austria, they had a good start and they had a tremendous finish. You've got to take the positives out of each game. And like Coach Babcock said, teams in international competition are good teams start to finish. And every team in international competition is going to be geared up to play Canada. And if you don't have your A game, you have a chance of losing if you don't bring it.
Like us, an early wake-up call for Team Canada at the World Championships against Austria. But you have to give the Austrians credit. They played Canada full tilt.
They did. They didn't hold anything back. They took it to Canada. They drove the net consistently. They got the lead. Then they started dumping the puck out. If it wasn't for this shorthanded goal by Matt Cook halfway through the third period, it could have easily continued in Austria's favor with the momentum. But Canada was able to tie it with Danny Heatley's goal with about 5 minutes remaining. And they could have easily won the game later in the third period with a few minutes to go if it wasn't for some solid goaltending on Austria's part. But Canada's got to approach this game and say, we've got to score lots of goals today, because the goal differential, the plus-minus in this tournament, means where you sit after the preliminary round. And that's what Canada's got to concentrate on.
We talked about it a lot the other day, that 2-2 tie, starkingly similar to a year ago, although it was later in the tournament against another team that was wearing red. That team was Denmark at the time. It was 2-2 in the final in that game. The Danish players also had a lead, and it was up to Jay Bowmeister to bring Canada back and eventually get a 2-2 tie. Peter Hirsch was the goalie that day, and they also celebrated a huge tie for that really non-powerhouse nation.
Well, they talked about that with Austria and the same type of thing. Austria was quite happy to get the tie because the World Championships next year are in Austria. So they said this is a huge boost for the players in Austria. But you can see how there are so few hockey players and so few rinks in Norway and Austria compared to what you have in Canada. So for those teams and countries to be able to compete at an international level with all NHL players and all Canadian players is a tremendous accomplishment. And you can see why back home in those countries, everybody's quite excited.
They got 24 rinks. Because some of our neighborhoods in Canada have 24 rinks, for goodness sake. So how does France play against Canada today? This French team has not been good in the first 2 games.
Well, they haven't, but they can't worry about that. They've got to worry about what they're going to do shift to shift. They're trying to improve their game. They're trying to build on something, and they can't worry about the score. And the goaltender has come out, Christopher Hewitt has come out and said, we're not going to win. Sebastian Bordelot, one player who played in the Montreal Canadiens, said, we want to keep it under 5. Well, keeping it under 5 is not bad. They've lost 2 games, 6-0 apiece. Their special teams are very poor. The key is for France is just come out, play your game, play your best, play to the level that you can play, and build on that. Don't worry about what the score is. Nobody expects great things from France, but nobody expected great things from Austria against Canada either, and that was a 2-2 tie.
Yeah, the other day we put the W beside Canada before the game began. We'll do it again with France. We'll only put it in pencil today, though. Cristobal Hewitt, by the way, said that the other day. He's not playing today. No wonder. He says his team's going to lose. France and Canada coming up. Starting goalies and more. Puck drop from Prague in a moment.
The 2004 IIHF World Hockey Championships on TSN are brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud to support Canadian hockey through sponsorship of the World Hockey Championships. By Mitchum M3, so effective you could skip a day. And by Gatorade. Is it in you?
You like simple better than complicated. You like quick better than slow. So use SpeedPass to pay at Esso. It's fast. There's no fumbling with cash or cards. And it links to a credit card account you already have. To get your free SpeedPass, call us toll-free or visit speedpass.ca. You'll like how easy it is to get where you need to be. How do we know? We're drivers too.
Why don't I drink American beer? Why don't I buy a Moroccan snowmobile? Why don't I eat a Japanese hot dog? What did I say? Why don't I wear Italian hip waders? Or Jamaican snowshoes? So, why don't I drink American beer? Because I am Canadian.
Hey, I thought you had a lot of cleaning to do this weekend.
I did.
You did? You mean you're done?
Yeah. With my Simonized S1500 pressure washer from Canadian Tire, it was real easy.
You did everything?
Well, it was perfect for the deck. That stain on the driveway. Oh, and all the windows.
So you still have to do the car.
No, with my rotary brush and underbody wand, it looks pretty good. I even had time left over to do the eavesdrop.
Well, what about the siding?
I haven't shown you my deck and siding brush.
No. Well, I guess it does just about everything, except lower your handicap.
True, but it did give me the afternoon off to take Bobby golfing. The Simonized S1500 pressure washer, only $229.99. Or for more power, get the S1750, only $279.99.
Have fun.
You too. Things just seem to get a little easier when you start at Canadian Tire.
Split folding seats make it practical. German engineered, Epsilon architecture makes it responsive. The fifth door makes it convenient. And sliding and reclining rear seats make it incredibly comfortable. Introducing the Chevrolet Malibu Max, the first 5-door sedan that's certain to make sense to everyone.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
The NHL ace Team Canada, the 3M line, and Scott Niedermayer gets a couple more days rest. Dave Reed, he basically landed the other day in Prague and played.
He's a tough guy to catch on the big ice. He's a tough guy to catch in National Hockey League ice. But I think Team Canada is looking for more offense from the 3M line. Glenn Murray had plenty of opportunities but couldn't find the back of the net. Brendan Morrison, Brendan Morrow, you've got to find some scoring from that line. Danny Heatley and Briere got their only even-strength goal, and Matt Cook brought the spark last game with the shorthanded goal.
And if you look at the goaltenders, no Roberto Luongo. He will not dress today for Mike Babcock, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks coach, and that means that his own guy, Ziggy, J.S. Giguère, gets the start. Starting goalies brought to you by Chevrolet for all life's roads.
Well, in 2002 World Championships, J.S. Giguère had a record of 3-1 and 1.89 goals against.
And a Francophone goalie against the French goalie Fabrice Lenry, who has yet to see any action at the World Championships. Are you expecting a romp here?
I wouldn't say I'm expecting a romp. I'm expecting lots of offensive opportunities. You still have to score.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 a.m., just after 6 a.m. Eastern time for this one, 3 a.m. Pacific time. High noon over in the Czech Republic. Let's go to our commentators now. Here's Dave Randorf and Gary Green.
Thanks a lot, Rod. Good morning, Canada. It's just after noon here in Prague, which is an early start no matter where you are for these NHLers. They're used to playing no earlier than late afternoon back in the National Hockey League. It should be pointed out that each team does have to play one of these noon-hour games here at the 2004 Worlds. And an early wake-up call is, I think, what Canada needs right now.
Well, I think the starting time is rather insignificant as far as Team Canada are concerned. And it doesn't matter that they're playing France, because the way that Jim Neal has explained it to me is that they are going to be a totally different Team Canada than the Team Canada that we saw against Austria. Let's face it, the Canadians played well for the first 5 shifts against Austria, and then after that it went way downhill until Matt Cook scored the first goal at about the 10-minute mark of the third period. Then Canada picked their game up. But today, they're expecting their team to play at a very high level, and I just talked to Tom Rennie, the associate coach for Team Canada, and he said the team is right up there, and so we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, look out, France, a team that has yet to score a goal. They've been shut out twice, 6-0 in back-to-back losses. Rod?
Thank you, gentlemen. Over the Danube in Czech Republic and Prague, known as Hockey Town, Europe. France against Canada is coming up next from the 2004 Worlds.
The 2004 IIHF World Hockey Championships on TSN are brought to you by Esso. At Esso, we're drivers too. By RBC local hockey leaders, recognizing dedicated volunteers who support hockey and their communities. And by Bauer Nike Hockey, accelerating the world's fastest athletes.
And there is Lance Big Tex Armstrong. Quick barehanded grab, no bobble at all, and just connects with Millard to get away at first base. Andre Agassi down.
She'll be going for a Yurchenko half-on, piped front.
A good look at Urlacher sitting next to Michael Vick. Not a bad 1-2 punch.
Randy Johnson builds toward the most major moment. It's
so powerful. Beautiful landing.
Armstrong attacking. Meet Mr. Urlacher.
Last time it happened, Pete Weber, Fountain Bowl.
World, say hello to bowling. On fire. The pitch on the way. Andre slices one left field for his third. Quick hands, left, right. Thanks for coming. Vic walks in. Vic shoots and scores.
Slamming it down the express arena.
Breakaway speed.
What a great move for the big unit.
And the Fenway Park. Lance Armstrong. Can you believe it? This guy can do anything.
My life, my job, my curse is to vanquish evil.
On May 7th, adventure has a new name. Van Helsing. Starts May 7th.
Later on, LeBron James is here, and we'll have this, something like that. Let's just run through it. Yeah, okay. No, I think it's sold out, actually. Let me just start like that. Whoa! Are you guys rolling on this? Yeah. That's a 90-footer. That is amazing. Oh, my. Did you get that? You have that, right?
Some fertilizers can burn your lawn. But CIL Golf Green has double-coated nitrogen to feed your lawn gradually, without burning. CIL Golf Green. Greener, longer, guaranteed. Some brands of grass seed have weeds. But CIL Golf Green grass seed is guaranteed weed-free. Start green, stay green with CIL Golf Green.
So say thanks with the KFC Mom's Meal. Original recipe seasoned chicken, delicious salads, crispy fries, and for dessert, a decadent double fudge chocolate cake. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. The KFC Mom's Meal. There's more in the bucket.
When a kid really needs to talk to a friend. Kids Help Phone.
Make sure we're here to answer. On May 2nd, join the Bell Walk for Kids in support of Kids Help Phone.
So what Team Canada team will we see today? The team that won the gold a year ago or the team that tied Austria the other day? Let's go to Prague now. Here's Dave and Gary.
Thanks very much, Rod, and hello, Canada, from Prague in the Czech Republic, as you get up and get ready for work in the East or school, perhaps. And those of you, those hardy souls out of the West, got the coffee going. We're glad to have you with us. France in white, carrying it over the line right away, snapped in there by number 9, Maurice Rosenthal, advertised as their best player. And at center ice on this line for France is number 71, Sébastien Bordelot. A name instantly recognizable to those who follow the NHL, a Montreal Canadian, former Hull Olympique, as Canada is offside at the line right off the bat.
Well, after a couple of very disturbing games for France, being blown out 6-0 in each of them, as you heard Rod talk about, they do not have their #1 goaltender. Cristobal Hewitt is not even dressed in today's game. He actually pulled himself in the Switzerland game after having 6 goals scored against him. He went to the bench, he threw off his equipment, and he also had some despairing remarks about his hockey club and their chances against Canada, and he's not even dressed.
So it is Fabrice Laurie in behind the goal, playing it for Team France as they start out as the Glenn Murray, Brendan Morrison, and Brendan Morrow line goes to work for Canada. In behind the Canadian goal, Jean-Sébastien Giguère leaves it for his teammate, and it's carried out by Jay Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester gets it to the line, but has turned over to Bachelet. Benoit Bachelet drops it off. There's a shot and a save off the stick of Arnaud Briand, and Giguère is into the game.
Actually, the first 2 shifts by France have been rather impressive. They have been aggressive. They've gone to the net, got the puck inside Canada's zone. Very unlike what Canada did to Austria in the first 5 shifts of game #1, where, in fact, they just dominated the play.
Face off to the left of Giguère, and it's won by Briere, controlled off the draw by Willie Mitchell. This is Mitchell of the Minnesota Wild, waiting for things to set up in front of him. He'll carry it out to the blue line and hand it off to Derek Morris. Morris dumps it in. It's handled by Laurie. Around the boards it goes, and it's kept in at the line by Morris. Tries to center it in there for Jeff Friesen, who's in behind the goal. Here's Friesen trying to work away from his man. Leaves it for Briere. Daniel Briere trying to cycle it into Danny Heatley, who had one of the goals, the game-tying goal 2 days ago against Austria. Now at the line, it's Briere. Flips one towards the goal, right on, and Fabrice Laurie makes his first save of the game.
Briere put the puck at the net, and that's exactly what he was hoping to do, with a little traffic in front, however. Daniel Briere, one of the returning players from last year's gold medal winning team. He also had an outstanding year for the Buffalo Sabres.
Matt Cook tries to fire one through a crowd. Laurie saw that. He's trying to cover it up at the side of the net. Is unable to do so. Lillian Prunet is the defenseman in there battling for possession. It comes out towards the line, and it's carried out by Bryce Chauvel. He tried to center a pass. It's broken up. Here's Justin Williams with Patrice Bergeron. Williams leaves it for Bergeron, stops, makes a move right in front, was looking for a hard-charging Steve Stales, who crashes into the net, and now back the other way is Chauvel snapping a shot. A weak one handled easily by Giguère. Chauvel was in behind everybody there, but had no speed to pull away and get a real quality shot on goal. Here's Eric Brewer now, carrying it over the line. He has Smith with him, Ryan Smith into the corner. The captain once again for Team Canada for the 4th consecutive year here at the World Championship. And now Smith has it in behind the goal line with Rob Niedermeyer right in front. Puck is loose. There's a shot and a blocker saved by Laurie. Centering attempt finds no one except for Maurice Rosenthal. Here comes Rosenthal over the line, drops it off for Bordelot. He'll put a shot in on goal. In on Giguère, takes a hop off the boards. As Giguère thought he had it covered, the whistle comes and a face-off is on the way.
Well, already in this first period of play, you have seen the defense of Team Canada being extremely active, especially Niedermeyer and Stales. Stales ended up going right to the net. I don't think that Henry ever expected to be playing in this game today.
Well, these teams know they're facing Canada, and I'm sure France thought, great, well, we've got an NHL goaltender, at the very least, to help keep the score under control, but as Gary told you the story, Cristobal Hewitt not even dressed here after playing a significant amount of games, 41 games for the Los Angeles Kings. Far side now, Brendan Morrow has it. Delayed penalty coming up against France. Here's Morrison with a backhander, and it's batted away by Lowry, and Canada will have a power play when we come back to Prague.
What's really important in building something better? For RBC, it's you, our client. Good things happen when our strength works for you. Remember the first time you experienced the freedom of accessing your money outside bank hours? Today, specialists in mortgages, investments, and insurance come to you. But it doesn't matter how often we're first, unless it puts you first. RBC Financial Group. First for you.
The RBC Local Hockey Leaders Program recognizes dedicated volunteers that support hockey in their community. This season, RBC has donated over $100,000 on behalf of 14 regional winners like Art Como of St. John, New Brunswick. For more information, visit rbchockeyleaders.com.
Nicolas Pousset, the defenseman for Team France, has taken the first penalty of this hockey game, and Daniel Briere settles into the face-off circle on the power play. It comes around the boards, and it's kept in by Scott Niedermayer. He sends it in behind the goal for Ryan Smith. Smith is out there. They've got J. Paul Dumont out in front. There's Dumont now in behind the net, being helped out by Smith. Briere in the far corner. Heatley and Niedermayer are along the points. Here's Scott Niedermayer over to Heatley. His one-time pass was misfired, and he turned it over. They have to come out. Ryan Smith right back in with Dumont right in front of the net, and a good save in close by Lowry. The wraparound couldn't quite make it. Here's Smith now in behind the goal. Briere and Dumont circling around. Heatley from a sharp angle fires a shot. Rebound comes to the line and not kept in, but it was blown down because it was played with a high stick.
It's usually a tough adjustment for the National Hockey League players early in this tournament on the power play. They've got so much room to work with it out there that at times they tend to forget it. They tend to forget that they can really take their time and make a very good pass, because you don't see many teams playing very aggressively on the wide ice surface, not killing penalties.
Fresh power play unit out there for Canada. Morris and Brewer along the points. Morrow, Morrison, and Murray up front. Here's Morrison down low to Morrow. Murray right in front, and the pass went through his skates. Eric Brewer now sends it in deep for the waiting Brendan Morrison. Back to Brewer, and he mistimed that one out of the reach of Brewer, who has to back up. Waits for his mates to clear the zone, then he throws it back in there. Back to the line it comes for Morris. Morris drifts one in there. Good stop by Lowry on the far side, and Brewer pinched but couldn't keep it in. 40 seconds to go in the Canadian power play here as it's gathered up in behind the net and skated out to center ice by Morris. Steos now has joined the power play, chips it in there. Sebastian Bordelot chips it high off the glass and down the ice. Now here's Bouwmeester. 20 seconds to go in the man advantage. Patrice Bergeron's charging in there. Bergeron tries to center it, but couldn't get away from the French defender. Bouwmeester snaps a shot and deflects wide. Down the ice it goes, and that will do it for the first Canadian power play. They were very ineffective with the man advantage against Austria, and so far nothing to show for it in this game either.
And Fabrice Landry certainly doesn't look too intimidated by Team Canada.
Here's Baptiste Amar with a good hard wrist shot right on. He had some traffic in front as well, so a good stop there by Giguère. Now Bergeron is nudged off the puck. France clears it again. This will be icing. But so far, the French team has played Canada fairly even, aside from that power play for the first 5:45.
Giguère actually had a bit of a screen set up in front of him. So far, France has really had about as equal scoring opportunities as has Canada. And again, Fabrice Landry has not looked out of place, and he certainly hasn't looked like a backup goaltender in the first 5 minutes of play.
Controlled off the draw by Canada. Shot from the short side by Jeff Friesen goes up into the netting, so another faceoff is coming up. Keep in mind that France has yet to score a goal here at the World, so to give up the first one would really be, I'd say, a little bit demoralizing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so, but you saw that last opportunity that Friesen had. And Fabrice Lonray really squared himself to the shooter, didn't give much room at all. And Jeff Friesen certainly couldn't find any. Right now, Fabrice Lonray is heading to the bench for some equipment repairs.
Henry is a veteran, 31 years old. He's been around the French national team for several years. And does not look nervous to start this one.
No, as I always point out, he is not the least bit intimidated by these National Hockey League players.
Justin Williams can't get that puck to sit down, and it's swatted out of the zone. Mitchell and Schultz backing up for Canada. Two teammates from the Minnesota Wild. Back on the blue line right now for Canada. Williams of the Carolina Hurricanes is nudged off the puck there by Mortas, and Sean Horkoff is back to help out. Here's Horkoff, one of the 8 returning players from last year's gold medal team. Skates it out to center ice. Horkoff over the blue line now. Drops it off for Williams, who sends it deep. Horkoff meets it there, gets it in behind the net for Friesen. Try to center it for Schultz, and couldn't connect. Bryce Chauvel clears the zone for France. Down the ice it goes. Jaguar plays that to keep the play moving. Around the boards and out to center ice is Lilian Prunet for France. He'll dump it in there. Hit on the forecheck is Laurent Gras, number 28 for France. But Daniel Briere comes up with it. Back to Briere on the fly, waiting for some help. He drops it off now to Heatley. In behind the goal now is Danny Heatley. Gets it back towards Steve Staios. Staios to the line, looking for a lane. Takes the shot and reached the net, and it was kicked out by Laurie. Now here comes Gras making a move of the line. Circles back, looking for the trailer, but instead he's being hounded all the way by J.P. Dumont. They try to pick it loose there, but it comes back to Brewer.
On that last scoring opportunity by Canada, you saw that Staios had the puck back at the point.
There's an interception onto the stick of Sebastian Bordelot, who fired one from a long way out. Canada's got big eyes when it comes to that long pass here on the big ice, and so far it hasn't worked, but now here comes Heatley barging up the ice. He lost control of it, but he's back in on the puck on the far side, lost his balance for just a moment, and France will come back out. Rosenthal leaves it for Bordelot. Bordelot in over the line, trying to go wide on Bouwmeester, circles back, makes a shifty little move, and leaves it for Maurice Rosenthal. He's trying to get away and dance away from Morrison, but Brendan Morrison got it away from him. Now here's Heatley, who's at the end of a long shift. Gets it to Morrison, who's got some help. Morrow now with a puck. Into Morrison, one-time tip, and a nice save by Fabrice Lonray, and a penalty is coming up.
Hi. Hey. This kid's potato sack doesn't look regulation to me.
Excuse me?
Well, it's got a wider base. I mean, that's totally unfair to my kid, right? I want to launch a protest. Well, look, it's 2 inches higher. Look at those hand grips. It's not regulation.
Regulation?
Look, you know what else? I want a urine sample from this kid. He looks a little beefy for a 5-year-old. You're going down, buddy.
Well, a pretty quick-paced game that we have seen so far. Daniel Briere showing great speed at breaking out, and then he was looking for a little bit of help here. But once again, Fabrice Lonray ends up getting the job done. Daniel Briere trying his best to get away from his check. This was actually the opportunity that I was talking about. Didn't get a chance to finish my point because of the opportunity that France looked as though they were going to get. But when that puck ended up going back to Staios, he ended up trying to put the puck to the net, but Canada had 3 men right in front of Fabrice Lonray, something that they didn't do very well against the Austrians. They didn't really get in front of Reinhard Davis in the game against Austria and make it difficult for him. Not difficult enough anyway.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Their second power play opportunity of the game. We're not even at the midway mark yet of the first period. Back to the line. One-timer by Brewer. His shot right on and steered aside by Lonray. Here's Brendan Morrow now. Puts it around the boards. Morris steps up and keeps it in there. In behind the net is Morrison. Morrow into Murray. Can't get it on his stick. Now he does. And Canada has opened the scoring on a goal by Glenn Murray right in front.
Well, sooner or later, you knew that Glenn Murray was going to score, because when he gets himself in front of the net, he's just such a big man that it's very difficult to control his stick. And you saw that exact situation right there, folks. Glenn Murray, who's 6'3", 225 pounds, was able to get his stick loose, and that's all that was necessary, because when that puck came to him, he was able to find some room behind Henry. And for Glenn Murray, that's got to be a bit of a sigh of relief. He had about 4 great scoring opportunities in similar positions in game number 1. Couldn't connect them.
Murray had 11 power play goals this season for the Boston Bruins. He gets a power play goal here, and it's 1-0 Canada as Baptiste Amar tries to steer one towards the goal. It's deflected up and over the net and into the netting.
Well, Canada felt that if they could get that first goal, that they would then start to mount their offensive attack. You heard Dave Reed talk at the start of the game about he knew that they would get offensive opportunities, whether or not they could in fact finish them off. Well, that has been the case so far in the first 10 minutes anyway. They've had some good scoring opportunities, and until Glenn Murray finished it off, Canada might have been starting to get a little bit frustrated.
No question about that. They wanted to get the first one here, the first of what they feel will be many, and get their game back on track. Speaking to a lot of players yesterday in the off day, it's all about building a little chemistry on the ice here in the early stages. They know each other very well from playing against one another in the National Hockey League, but to be thrown together, it doesn't come together as quickly as they'd like here at the Worlds. In on the puck now is Rob Niedermeyer in against Lillian Prunet. Ryan Smith's in there as well, centers the puck, and it hopped over the stick of the Canadian defender who came in to get a whack at it. Now here's Stales at center ice. Steve Stales skates it in. He was a solid performer for Canada a year ago in Helsinki and Turku. Matt Cook now, who scored that big short-hander 2 days ago against Austria to light the spark that they needed and got Team Canada going. Now here's Scott Niedermeyer, playing with his brother on the same team for the first time in years, since they were kids back in Cranbrook. Here's Cook in behind the net. Matt Cook on his backhand, got the shot away, and it was right into the belly of Laurie, who makes another stop.
Well, Matt Cook did the right thing, though. He came from around behind the net, and then he was looking actually toward the point. He saw that Rudy Bomeister wasn't up there quite in time in order to really, or I should say Brewer, quite in time in order to really take advantage of putting the puck back to him. So he did try the backhand himself.
Daniel Briere in to take the draw, wins it cleanly back to the line for Brewer, fires another hard one right in on Laurie, who saw that one all the way and made that one look routine.
Again, the key for Canada getting some opportunities from under that blue line. Now, getting the puck out there is one thing. Not allowing the goaltender to see it is another. Trying to get in his line of vision so that a guy like Brewer, who's got a good shot from the point, can end up getting it all the way through.
That one didn't get through before it hit Danny Heatley, and France will step outside their zone with it. This is Francois Rosenthal, the twin brother of Maurice. He's in it. Left it for Zwickel, and he overskated the puck, and back comes Canada with a 3-on-2. Dropped off to Heatley, was looking to load up with a wrist shot, but he had his pocket picked from behind by Anthony Mortas. Friesen now gives it to Brewer, ahead to Morris. Morris at center ice, fires it in there, hard off the boards. Briere in to keep it in. Morrow following up on the play, waiting for that line to complete its change. So France will control it in behind their net. Long pass up to center ice, didn't click, and Nick Schultz has it in the Canadian zone. Schultz cross ice now into the middle for Morrison. Little drop pass there, and a long pass looking for Glenn Murray. And Schultz will finish the job and dump it into the French zone.
France are doing a pretty good job of man-on-man coverage in the neutral zone especially.
Morrow tried to lay the body there on Laurent Gras, who sidestepped the check, and there's a shot from Murray that didn't miss by much, as Canada's got it going now.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Back tomorrow, not as early, 10 a.m. Eastern start. It's Canada against Switzerland. The Swiss, of course, beat France 6-0. They're playing Austria today. Canada, Switzerland tomorrow on TSN.
Switzerland, the second best team in this Group D grouping. Behind Team Canada, they played a good game against the Canadians last year in the qualification round, led by Canadian head coach Ralph Kruger. And expect a good tussle tomorrow against a very much an improving team. Team Switzerland tomorrow. We'll have it for you live on TSN. 12 minutes into the first period, 1-0 Canada on a goal by Glenn Murray as Rob Niedermeyer flips it ahead, was looking for Ryan Smith following up on the play. He's out there with his Oiler teammate Sean Horkoff, who couldn't keep them hemmed. Here's Schultz now in his own zone. Niedermeyer along the near boards gets it out. Now from behind the French goal, out they come. Long pass from the stick of Christian Pouget. That goes all the way down the ice, right in on goal. J.S. Giguère, the starter for Team Canada today, in case you're just joining us, getting up early to watch this one as you get ready for work or for school. And we have another penalty call coming up here, an interference call, Gary. Also against France, their third straight penalty of the hockey game.
Well, it's because right now, France are really concentrating on that man-on-man coverage. I mentioned what a good job they were doing in the neutral zone. The difficulty that France end up having once it enters their zone is that they're still hanging on to their man, and they're going to end up picking up obstruction penalties, holding penalties, or interference penalties, as we just saw.
Great draw by Morrison, back to Brewer, who has lots of time to fire a wrist shot towards the goal. They're 1 for 2 on the power play so far in this game. Trying to add to their lead. Here's Brewer in behind his own net. Had a chance to speak with Eric Brewer yesterday, and you'll see that interview in our first intermission. He was mentioning his family will be up in Kamloops this morning, albeit early. So heads up for them. You'll hear from your son in the first intermission. Little miscommunication here by Canada, and France is keeping it down the other end of the ice. Sebastian Bordelot in on the forecheck against Brewer. It's picked up by Morris. Here comes Derek Morris. In over the line, gets it to Brendan Morrison. Morrison cross-ice pass looking for Morrow, and that was stopped smartly by Lowry.
Well, Canada on this power play have not even been able to get set up in the offensive zone. Instead, it's been France that have been taking some advantage of some errant passes by Canada, but good hustle also by this French team. One thing that Jim Neal and I were talking about just before tonight's game is that, or this afternoon's game, I should say, is the fact that all these teams can skate in this tournament. There's no real weak competition anymore. All these teams are competitive in their own way.
Heatley drifts one towards the goal. That didn't reach the mark. Batted out of the air and kept in by Niedermeyer. In behind the goal is Briere and Smith and Dumont. Briere comes up with the puck back to the line for Niedermeyer, and it took a hop off his stick, and Scott Niedermeyer has to circle back. Ahead now to Dumont. Back to Heatley. Danny Heatley to Niedermeyer. Here's Heatley. Lots of room. Winds up. Fires a good hard shot right on. And Lowry makes another stop.
Henry has just got himself squared to the shooter, and even though he had a little bit of interference there initially by his own defenseman, that he ended up then being able to see the puck very clearly when it really counted, right at the last second.
I'm sure Lowry is not used to seeing a sniper like Heatley, all 6'3" of them standing about 20 feet away, winding up with a slap shot. That was probably a big sight for him. Here's Patrice Bergeron, the rookie out of the Boston Bruins organization, cycling around down low. In front is Cook, and Williams couldn't get him the puck. Just 10 seconds to go in the French penalty.
Sebastian Bordelot has killed pretty much this whole penalty. He's just now going off the ice.
Now here's Jay Bouwmeester skating it up. Bouwmeester named to the tournament all-star team, named the top defenseman a year ago at the World. He had a great debut. This World Championship. Chauvel snapped one from a short side. The penalty is over. Team's back at even strength, and The French have withstood another Canadian power play, and it's still just 1-0 here, with under 5 minutes to go in the first.
Shots on net 14-6 right now in favor of Canada.
Steos now in behind his net, waiting for the line change to complete. It's done now, and here they come. To center ice is Friesen. Friesen is able to get it in there. Back to get it for France is Christian Pouget. Sends it up the boards, and out it comes. And now here comes Bordelot with a head of steam. Sebastian Bordelot leaves it for Rosenthal, and it was offside of the line on what was looking like a dangerous rush.
Head straight to the edge of your seat at the Walmart Electronics Department.
Every path you have trod through wilderness, through war, has led to this road. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
See more action than you bargained for. Get into Walmart today.
Welcome back to Prague. Just over 4 minutes to go here in the opening period. And we should point out that we are using a world feed. We don't control the pictures here, so sometimes we come out of commercial and they're still in a replay. In case you're wondering if that looks a little odd, that is why.
And we should also point out that this team from France, pretty good skaters out there. I mean, you look at the way that they have played in this first period so far, and they can skate with this Team Canada. I mean, they can skate with National Hockey League players out there. And my point that I was making when I said that I was talking to Jim Nill, the general manager of Team Canada, before the game, and how every team, you know, is very competitive in their own way. For the Austrians, they were good skaters, good passers, and they had an outstanding goaltender. When you see Germany play in this tournament, they're extremely good as far as their defensive discipline goes. They really trap well. So every team finds its way of being as competitive as possible by doing what they think they can do best. And for this France team, well, you also know that they're going to play their very best game of the tournament, no doubt, right here today against Canada.
France is back in Pool A competition for the first time in the last 4 years. They've spent the last 3 in Pool B, so the tournament did not start out well for them as they allowed their first goal against just 9 seconds in against Austria. I also feel that Canada, while they've had a lot of shots, Greener, I think they've shot a lot right at Henri. There's a tip and a goal by Horkov. And Henri had no chance at that one, and it's 2-0 Team Canada.
Just a good, solid performance here by Ryan Smith, first of all, to get that puck out to the front of the net. And who does he get it out to? Well, to a guy that he knows pretty well, Sean Horkov. Horkov just drove to the net. He knew full well that, having played with Ryan Smith enough in Edmonton, that Ryan Smith will find a way to get that puck in the corner and then out to the front of the net. Ryan Smith really excels at his play in the corners and out in front of the net as well.
Horkov with his first goal of the tournament. Scored 3 of them last year in Finland for Team Canada. Gives the Canadians a 2-0 lead in the dying minutes here of the first period. Niedermeyer back to gather it up in behind his own net. And the great skater Niedermeyer was pinned there along the far boards by the forward David Dostal, a Czech-born player playing for the French Nationals here. Now here's Niedermeyer. Gets it ahead to Morrison. Morrison in over the line. Gets it in the middle. Niedermeyer had jumped up in the play. And now he gets back on his feet. And Fabrice Larry will cover up with red jerseys all over the place.
Well, I really like the way that Scott Niedermeyer has been, as you say, jumping up in the play in this first period. He and Steos have been Canada's best at doing that. They have really been aggressive from the point at moving up on the play, adding to the attack, and Canada has got lots of reason to do that and do it well today.
Danny Heatley in a race for the puck into the corner with Baptiste Amar, and Amar wins that battle and comes out with it. Then he'll drop it off for Mortas. Mortas's pass is a sloppy one, gathered in by Team Canada. Top of the circle now, shot on the way, and before there was any rebound, Larry covered up. Good thing, too. Briere was there, so was Heatley and Friesen close by.
Well, really for Canada, they've got to continue to do exactly what Ryan Smith did. So they've got to control the play along the boards, and when they are starting a cycle, they have got to make sure that they are strong on that puck. This team from France again continue to impress me by the way that they, at least strategy-wise, are playing good man-on-man coverage. You know, they're checking very well out there.
Brewer manages to keep that puck in at the line, and behind the goal is Friesen, has to get away from a stick. Briere with a quick turnaround shot. Friesen puts it in front. Briere, no! Waved off, thought he might have found the top of the net there, but no, the referee was standing right there, and the American official says that face-off's coming out. And there's a Canadian penalty on the
I think
play.
for goaltending interference right here. And I think that it's going to Friesen by the looks of this replay, where he really did have Henry pinched.
Well, this puck did go into the net.
It went into the net, but at the same time, watch Friesen.
Yeah.
I mean, Friesen has got Henry tied right up. There's not a chance that the goaltender could even get loose in order to try to stop that puck.
So Friesen's penalty wipes out a goal that would have made it 3-0, and now France goes on the power play with just under 2 minutes to go here in the first period. For an early afternoon matinee between France and Canada, game 2 for Team Canada here in the preliminary round. Kept into the line by Bordelot. His shot was right on the mark. Jaguar to be careful with that. Niedermeyer watching his check closely. In behind the net now, France setting things up. Here's Maurice Rosenthal. Back down low. Trying to work out in front is Olivier Cocu, and he can't get away. Rob Niedermeyer now with a puck, and he'll fire it down the ice and make no mistake about it.
Maybe the coaching staff told their players to handcuff this goaltender today, but Jeff Friesen took it literally.
This is David Dostal. In over the line, Dostal is forced to stop by Matt Cook, and Justin Williams is going to force Bordelot to make a play on that puck. Here's Cook following up. He already has one shorthander in the tournament. Final minute now of the first. Baptiste Demar flips it in. In on the forecheck is Arnaud Briand. Niedermeyer gets it to Williams. Justin Williams will now leave it for Scott Niedermeyer, who clears the zone and sends it down the ice.
Well, this first period of play, you've got to say that Canada has skated well out there. Their passing still isn't really not as it should be. They're a little still out of sync, unaccustomed to playing with each other. But they've got a couple of things done well. First of all, they've got that 2-goal lead, but secondly, they've also been disciplined. Outside of Friesen taking that penalty, they have been much better than they were against the Austrians as far as staying out of the penalty box.
And even that, I've seen more aggressive contact with a goaltender. That penalty to Friesen, which is just about over. Just 5 seconds to go in that penalty. And just 5 seconds to go in the period. One last icing call. It'll come down into the France end.
Well, so Canada can take this 2-goal lead out of this first period of play and then build on it for the second. They still have got to have better flow to their offensive attack right now. They're still a little bit disjointed, but the effort's been there in this first period. But they also will realize that this French team are not about to just to be bowled over, but as other teams have experienced also, and we have experienced over many years, is that if you can get that 2-goal lead on a team like France, is that the longer the game goes, the more you can really end up taking control. We'll see whether or not that turns out to be true here.
Bordelot touches up in the corner. The whistle goes. Period is over, and Canada heads into the first intermission with a 2-0 lead as we send you back to Rod Black.
Thanks very much, Dave and Gary. Much better than the Austrian game.
Well, much better on the scoreboard, but like Gary Green said, we're going to talk about a little bit later, the flow to the Canadian game just isn't there. Even though they're up 2-0, they're not playing like a well-oiled machine as of yet.
Glenn Murray must be happy to get off the schneid, though. He had so many chances against Austria.
Well, I think the Montreal Canadian fans remember Glenn Murray not scoring, although he got the one overtime goal, but it's the ones that he missed in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it was nice to see him get that one because, yes, he had many opportunities against Austria and point-blank opportunities, and the one that he got in today's game against France was more of a few bounces and tap it in rather than stand in the slot with the big boomer we're used to seeing.
It is a huge commitment for a lot of players. There is a good news, bad news situation for a lot of players when they go to the World Championships. The bad news is your team is out of the NHL playoffs. The good news, if you're an Edmonton Oiler, you get to go to the World Championships. One of those Oilers caught up with Dave Randorf yesterday in Prague.
We're in Old Town Square, right in the heart of Prague. And you may remember back in 1998, right after the Winter Olympic Games, this place was jammed with hundreds of thousands of people as they celebrated the Olympic gold medal won by the Czech hockey team. Of course, it was a bit of a different story in 2002 as Canada took home the gold medal. And this guy beside me was a member of that gold medal team, Eric Brewer, playing in his 4th consecutive World Championship. Is this a tournament you followed before you played in it?
To an extent, I did. You're always patriotic towards your country and want to be involved with as much hockey as you can. Just growing up, you just can't get enough of it. So, to an extent, I did.
Now, what do you tell guys back in the NHL, perhaps teammates or other players that you know around the league? What do you tell them if they haven't been here about the experience of coming here and playing for Canada at a Worlds?
I personally really like it. The traveling is neat. It's obviously very different from what we're used to, but playing on the big ice presents a lot of different challenges, newer challenges, and I just have had some fun with it in the past, and I've always been able to come over with some teammates, which makes it a lot easier, but just had a good time with it, and obviously last year winning it makes a huge difference as well.
Absolutely. In terms of off the ice, when you come overseas, you get to come to a beautiful city such as this. How important is it for you to get out and see the cities and experience that as well when you come over?
It's really important. I think with all the guys, you get out and walk around and just kind of experience what Europe has to offer, regardless of what area of the continent you're in. Just traveling about and watching the people go about their daily business is something that can kind of open your mind a little bit to the things we do and don't do it back home.
Back on the ice, I want to ask you, I know you're here to win and to play well for Canada, but is it in the back of your mind when you think towards the World Cup and auditioning for that? I know that you're already, you've been on the Olympic team before and World Championships, but I know you want to be on that World Cup team as well.
I mean, I think everyone would like to be a part of that team, regardless of how the tournament goes. I mean, you just want to be a part of it here, and with that, you just worry about it when it comes up. You know, they know all the types of players that they want and who's going to fit in and who's not. So, you know, I'm not too worried about what's going to happen with that. They could put together 2 or 3 teams and everything would be fine, and the team would probably be the favorite to win. So you deal with that as you come. I think in the end, I like the traveling and I like coming over and playing on the big ice.
Well, you do it well, and best of luck the rest of the way. The Oilers always answer the call, as does this guy right beside me. Eric Brewer, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Back to you, Rod.
One of those Oilers got an assist, Ryan Smith, in the first period. Glenn Murray, the opening goal for Canada. Much more to come during the first intermission on TSN.
Now, a man with nothing to live for will become a hero.
Don't let your memories kill you.
With everything to fight for.
No one's ever stood up for me before.
The Punisher.
Now playing.
She hasn't forgiven. She hasn't forgotten. She isn't finished yet.
You and I have unfinished business.
Kill Bill Volume 2.
Now playing.
Introducing the Chevrolet Optra, the kind of car that gets noticed.
That ought to do it.
Oh, you're going international, huh?
That's the plan.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Hey, Frank, little help!
Here you go, guys.
Hey, ragazzi! Hey, Franco, che aiuti?
Ci vediamo.
Ciao, Franco.
Ciao.
Ecco i pacchi da Montreal.
Sì, lavoriamo con l'estero, eh?
Ti ringrazio.
Complimenti.
Global shipping with a very familiar face. UPS, what can Brown do for you?
Kids don't always make the best choices.
But at McDonald's, every choice is good. They can choose their favorite Happy Meal food and a drink like milk or juice. Try new apple slices with caramel dip. McDonald's. I'm loving
it. These are our laboratories. These are our subjects. Adidas Active for men. Antiperspirant with sweat-activated smart technology. The harder you sweat, the harder it works. Adidas Active. Athletes get it.
Also available, Adidas Active Antiperspirant for women.
Why don't I drink American beer? Why don't I buy a Moroccan snowmobile? Why don't I eat a Japanese hot dog? What did I say? Why don't I wear Italian hip waders? Or Jamaican snowshoes? So, why don't I drink American beer? Because I am Canadian.
Playoff hockey lives here. NHL on TSN, Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. San Jose Sharks leading 3-0 over the Colorado Avalanche in high def on TSN. That is tomorrow night. The Avalanche better hurry hard or they're not going to get one of these things. Those rings.
Another one. And I think they want to, but they don't have. I don't like their chances right now, down 3-0.
Well, what about France's chances down 2-0 after one?
Well, I don't like France's chances down 2-0 after one either. I could say that, honestly. But also the way Canada came out in this game, I wouldn't say that it was a perfect classic example of Canadian hockey. Here's Patrice Bergeron turning the puck over at the blue line, and this results in the puck right back down in Canada's zone. Here's another opportunity. This isn't Canada hockey. Steve Stale's trying to go cross-ice, getting picked off. Canadian hockey is get the puck up, get the puck deep, create a forecheck, get on your man. Watch this. This is Danny Heatley. Here's Brendan Morrison on the right of your screen getting out of the way. Daniel Briere and Ryan Smith behind the goaltender. That's not the way you play Canadian hockey. This is how you play Canadian hockey. Get the puck to the front of the net, out-muscle your man in front of the net, and put it in. On their second goal, they got very lucky on this one. There's a turnover right away by Ryan Smith. Niedermeyer picks it up, and this is the way it's supposed to be played. Take it wide, put the puck to the net, and bang it in. That's Canadian hockey. That's the way it's always been in Canada. None of this fancy stuff. Set your tone of the game, get your forecheck going, start using your body, and you get good things will happen. That's what Canada's got to get back to in the second period and not rely on their power plays to score them some goals. If they can get it deep, get on the forecheck, take the man, get some shots from the outside, and crash the net, I think you'll see more goals.
Sounds like what they had going the other day against Austria. You sound like grapes there for a second. Good old-fashioned Canadian hockey.
Tighten up there.
Better looking suit, mind you. We'll be back with more. The IIHF World Hockey Championships continuing from Czech Republic, Canada, leading France 2-0 after one.
Here you go, boys. Here you go. Get the scent. Get the scent. Go find him, boys.
Introducing the award-winning Outlander Max. It can handle extra tough conditions and one or two riders. Thanks to its exclusive convertible seat rack system.
I guess someone's got a long walk back.
Guess so. Don't get stuck with anything less. Bombardier ATV. Follow no one. Now with 2 years of free extended coverage.
Hey, get those brakes I asked for?
Nope. I got you something better.
What?
Monroe brakes from Canadian Tire.
Monroe brakes?
Yeah, they're new. I just had them installed in my car. And the technician at Canadian Tire told me they're designed to work with my original braking system. They even have a stainless steel shim that helps reduce brake squeal.
That all sounds good. What about the warranty?
They're guaranteed for 60,000 kilometers or 3 years.
You're telling me these brake pads work with my original brake system, have a noise reduction feature, and if I install them myself, they're guaranteed for 60,000 clicks.
They come with all the parts you need to install them, too. Right now, get Monroe brake pads for any vehicle, just $54.99. Things just seem to get a little easier when you start at Canadian Tire.
But you can give me a hand?
Well, I'm no professional, but
read me those instructions. Thanks.
These are our laboratories. These are our subjects. Adidas Active for men. Antiperspirant with sweat-activated smart technology. The harder you sweat, the harder it works. Adidas Active. Athletes get it.
Also available, Adidas Active Antiperspirant for women.
Whoa. What are you doing?
Playing hide and go seek.
That's hide and seek? I found you in 2 seconds. Get out of there. If you want to win this game, you got to do a lot better than that. Right? Come on. Get in. Hustle. Now that's the way you play the game.
You can bid on game-worn Team Canada jerseys and buy official Team Canada merchandise online, www.hockeycanada.ca. You can do that on eBay. Funds raised going to the Canadian Hockey Foundation, hockeycanada.ca.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
I'm Stephanie, and we're the Zellick family.
Being outside's the only family time we got, just because we're all busy.
Having good quality products just makes things run a lot smoother.
So a lot of our stuff comes from Walmart.
Patio set, barbecue, you name it. Walmart's got it. We like to sit down and relax and enjoy each other's company. The time you spend with your family is the most precious time of all.
So say thanks with the KFC Mom's Meal. Original recipe seasoned chicken, delicious salads, crispy fries, and for dessert, a decadent double fudge chocolate cake. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. The KFC Mom's Meal. There's more in the bucket.
These are our laboratories. These are our subjects. Adidas Active for men. Antiperspirant with sweat-activated smart technology. The harder you sweat, the harder it works. Adidas Active. Athletes get it.
Also available, Adidas Active Antiperspirant for women.
J.S. Giguère nursing a shutout through 20 minutes. Game 2 for Team Canada at the Worlds, leading France 2-0 as we send it back to Dave Randorf and Gary Green in Prague.
As we are just about set to start the second period. 2-0 lead on the goals by Glenn Murray and Sean Horkoff, who had a career season playing for the Edmonton Oilers this year in the National Hockey League. Got a nice redirect off a nice pass from his Oiler teammate, Ryan Smith. So here we go. Period number 2. Eric Brewer in behind his own net alongside Steve Staios, who's wearing one of the alternate captain A's. Gets it to Horkoff. Horkoff will headman the puck up to Smith over the line. Ryan Smith now being watched. Try to center a puck into Eric Brewer, who jumped up in the play, but it didn't reach him. Now back comes France. This is David Dostal leading the rush. Bordelot's with him, in behind Rosenthal. Couldn't get the shot away. And another goaltending interference call is coming up.
And this time, though, Canada is going to end up taking the penalty.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't goaltending interference, I beg your pardon. Just interference.
It was simply the fact that Sean Horkoff knew that his man was heading straight to the net, and he ended up dragging him down. Well, the French have gotten off to a quick jump here in this first period of play. They forechecked well, and when Stéos ended up making the pass over to Brewer, right off the bat, the first pass by Canada was not a good one, simply because the French player ended up jumping in and intercepting that pass by Stéos.
France had one power play opportunity in the first. They are 0 for 1, and a miscommunication at the blue line there. They'll have to chase it out into the neutral zone. Morrison watching Amar very closely. Dostal with a headman pass looking for Benoit Bachelet, number 46, in against Nick Schultz. That's sent around the boards, and it's caught up in the netting, so a face-off is coming up.
When defensemen on this big ice surface end up throwing that puck around the boards, the wingers have got to be very quick to get over there. There's just that extra difference in width between the Olympic size, international size ice surfaces and that of the Canadian 85-foot size. 100 feet is the width of these international rinks, at least most of the international rinks. And as a result, for forwards, if you're going to play along the wall, then you're going to have to play 2 or 3 feet closer to the wall than you normally would in the NHL if you're going to get those wraparound type of passes from the defenseman.
Sebastian Bordelot now, who has 251 NHL games on his resume, most of which with the Montreal Canadiens. Son of Paulin Bordelot, who played 3 seasons for the Vancouver Canucks. That's where Sebastian was born.
Sebastian, I think, was upset at Canada, period, because he did not get invited to the World Juniors back in a career year that he had when he was playing in the Quebec Junior Hockey League and playing for Hull. And at that point in time, I think that he has kind of harbored that sentiment against Canada for a number of times. He has had opportunities to put on a Canadian sweater 3 different times in the last 2 years and has turned them down all time. Twice for the Spengler and once for the Sweden games, and he decided he didn't want to play.
And now he's playing against Team Canada, representing France for the first time. Yeah, here he is playing for France when a few months ago he could have been playing for Canada at the Spengler Cup.
He's a pretty good player, too. I mean, he plays with a little bit of an edge. He tends to take a fair number of penalties, even in European hockey. He plays for Bern in the Swiss League. Bern were the champions this year, and he and Christian Dubé are the star players for that team. Sebastian Bordelot, remember, he came close to getting 100 points in his 250 NHL games when he played for Minnesota and Phoenix and Nashville and the Montreal Canadiens, but then chose to come over here when the Phoenix Coyotes actually had sent him down to the American Hockey League and then did not pick up his option year.
Dying seconds of this power play for France. They haven't really been able to manage a shot on goal here. Eric Brewer will finish it off, send it down the ice. Horkoff is out of the box, and France is now 0 for 2 with the man advantage. And it remains 2-0 as they skated out of their own zone. Headman pass into the center ice area. Worked up onto the right wing for Amar. He's bumped off the puck by Stéos, and it comes in behind the Canadian goal. And there's Brewer. His pass is intercepted by France. Xavier Daramy wearing number 17 in there watching Brewer. Brewer spins away from that check and gets it ahead to Dumont. Dumont, a 20-goal man for the Buffalo Sabres again. He bounced back after just 14 a year ago. Now moving out in front, they try to set up Dumont, but the pass didn't reach him. That was Heatley with the work behind the net. Now Heatley's watching Amar, gets the turnover to go his way. Briere chases it in behind the goal. There's Dumont, his Buffalo Sabre teammate. Back to the line for Moore's quick, hard shot. Kicked high up into the netting by Laurie. And it's still 2-0 here in Prague.
Why don't I drink American beer? Why don't I buy a Moroccan snowmobile? Why don't I eat a Japanese hot dog? What did I say? Why don't I wear Italian hip waders? Or Jamaican snowshoes? So, why don't I drink American beer? Because I am Canadian.
Tonight on TSN, WWE Raw, an encore presentation. The Wrestlers tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN.
There's a good look at the head coach of the French national team, Heike Lima, a former Finnish player.
And he's got his hands full because it's not as though France has a great development program. So putting a competitive team on the ice for the World Championship, that's a different story. Well, that was a different opportunity right there, one that Canada hasn't seen too many of. A good opportunity by Murray right from the slot, unchecked.
And that was the type of shot that Dave Reed was referring to in the first intermission. That's the one that we're used to seeing Murray bury. And he'll probably get another one of those before this game or tournament is out. He is a finisher. Scored the goal that put the Bruins up 3-1 in their series against Montreal, and that was the last game that they won, of course. And the reason why Murray is here right now. Morris of the Phoenix Coyotes now chasing after that puck, but it is offside at the line. Coming out.
Well, so far in this second period, Canada haven't come out with the type of jump that I thought that they would have. I thought that they would really take off after that first period of play with a 2-0 lead and come out and really forecheck, really get their skating legs again. But they've come out and in this second period of play, they have been a little bit lethargic.
Yeah, they have not had the jump yet. We haven't seen it consistently yet in the game and a half, well, moving up on a game and a half that they have played so far. They'll have to pick it up a notch as the big games will come quickly. Here comes Scott Niedermayer. He's always kicking it up a notch.
Well, France are picking up a penalty here because Prunet ended up just taking a pretty good two-hander to Scott Niedermayer. Niedermayer is taking a look at his hand right now. He seems to be all right, but Niedermayer is trying to carry the puck in, and we don't get an opportunity to really see it there because it happened back about a few seconds before. As Niedermayer was carrying the puck right up to the blue line, then this man ended up giving him a real good slash.
Well, he's okay because he's out there to start this power play. Canada is 1 for 3 with the man advantage so far today. Heatley managed to keep that puck in, and not for long as France will get it out. And pass is the reason the play was whistled down there.
Good idea to start Ryan Smith off on this power play opportunity. Ryan Smith knows where his destination will be if, in fact, Canada gets set up in the offensive zone. Ryan Smith does an outstanding job when it comes to controlling that front of the net and making sure the goaltender doesn't see the puck.
Here's Dumont now. Stops up, gets it back to the line for Niedermayer, returns the favor back to Dumont. Dumont in behind the goal. There is Smith out in front. It's Briere in behind. Centers looking for Smith, and it tips off the stick of Dumont. He'll pull it out of the air now and send it right back behind the goal where Smith has it. Tried to get it to Briere. Here's Dumont now. J.P. Dumont with lots of room. Far side, back to Niedermayer. Niedermayer over to Heatley. Back and forth with Heatley. Here's Heatley, one-timer, and a blocker stopped by Lowry. Didn't really get a chance to really lean into that, but here's Heatley again. One-timer, fans on the attempt, but it's bouncing in front, and Smith just couldn't reach it. Ryan Smith now gets possession, gets it back to Heatley with under a minute to go in the power play. Briere back to Heatley. Passing lane to Niedermayer was cut off, so he moves in, takes the shot. It bounces right to Niedermayer. Down low to Smith. Dumont's in front, so is Heatley. There's the centering pass. Briere whacks it out of the air, and it goes wide. Far side now is Smith, and the play was whistled down, or is about to be whistled down. No, there's a delayed penalty coming up here against Canada.
No, that was actually a situation where Ryan Smith, had he touched the puck,
okay,
it would have been whistled down. That's why Ryan Smith was hesitating there, because he didn't want the flow to be interrupted.
Of course, and out it comes with 16 seconds to go in the man advantage. Yeah, Briere had taken a whack at it with the high stick on his rebound attempt, and that's where the confusion had started, at least up here in the booth.
That's all right. We got it all ironed out.
I think so, Vic. It's early, Greener.
Canada trying their best to work that puck down low, and here was Briere's opportunity. You saw that he didn't have much, and that's when he knocked it down with a high stick, and it ended up over the corner, where Ryan Smith then just waited till the French player ended up touching it, in order to keep the play alive.
1 for 4 is what Canada is now on the power play, as this one is now over. Teams back at even strength. It remains 2-0 here, as we wait to see Canada really kind of unload on a team that they should be beating by much more than a 2-0 score.
So often, though, Canada will play to the level of the competition. They don't really end up blowing anybody out.
Well, here's a chance for Morrison. Brendan Morrison right in there, and he couldn't get the shot away. It rolled off his stick as he was sent in all alone. Staios back to Morrison. One-timer was a weak one and knocked down. Great chance there for the Vancouver Canuck, and he couldn't finish it. Morrison now gets it over to Brewer. Over the line for Staios. Offside is the call, and we'll be right back to the Worlds.
You like simple better than complicated. You like quick better than slow. So use Speed Pass to pay at Esso. It's fast. There's no fumbling with cash or cards. And it links to a credit card account you already have. To get your free Speed Pass, call us toll-free or visit speedpass.ca. You'll like how easy it is to get where you need to be. How do we know? We're drivers too.
Bauer Nike Hockey supports the development programs of Hockey Canada for players, coaches, and officials, helping all hockey participants in Canada realize their dreams. Bauer Nike Hockey, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
One of the oldest, most beautiful cities in all of Europe, and a very passionate hockey city. Let's send you back to Prague now. Game 2 for Team Canada still ahead, 2-0.
Brendan Morrison, who just finished his 3rd straight season with 60-plus points and 3rd straight 20-goal season, had a breakaway from the blue line in and failed to connect. They say the ice in this brand-new Saska arena down there is not the best. At least that's what they're saying. Boucher with a shot. Rebound came right to Bordelot, and he couldn't find it on his stick. Good stop there by Jaguar.
Well, the ice does look soft. There's no question about that. It's a brand-new facility. It's the first event ever in this building. Just occurred on Thursday night when Canada ended up playing an exhibition game, or friendly game as they call it over here. It wasn't too friendly because they ended up certainly battling hard against each other, and everything except fighting occurred. But it's very difficult in a new facilities that has never had ice in it, and they are not only playing a lot of games here, but there are a lot of practices here.
Yeah, you're right. There's Bergeron with a shot from a long way out, steered aside by Lenry. The game has opened up just a little bit. Derek Moore steps into his man, and they keep the puck deep. Rob Niedermayer's in there, battling forward with Amar. Amar dumps in. Friesen gains possession. Jeff Friesen trying to dance away from his check Mortas. Friesen works his way out front. Comes out to the blue line now. Leaves it there. It's gathered up by Horkoff, and he can't get it to Niedermayer. It skips over his stick and out of the zone. Now a pass ahead. There's a little zip in the Canadians. Now Horkoff's in there. Scores! Sean Horkoff with his 2nd of the game, and it's 3-0 Canada.
Well, Sean Horkoff's just showing the rest of his teammates how to get it done out there. He's definitely finding the room today by Lenry, and he actually had his head up right here. He takes a look at the last second, and he realized there was room on the stick side, and he was able to get that shot exactly where he was looking.
Over the last 3 seasons, Horkoff's numbers have improved each and every time out for the Edmonton Oilers. He's becoming stronger and stronger as a regular NHL player, and that was some pretty good finish there as he just buried that one and made it 3-0.
Well, I like the way that Sean Horkoff played this year. I know Kevin Lowe does too, but I think that last year at the World Championship, Sean Horkoff really got some confidence going for himself. Not that he didn't have it before, but he found that being on a winning hockey club was not only good for the soul, but it helped him this year during the regular season. I'm convinced of that. I'm also convinced that a guy like Chris Draper had an outstanding year this year, and that last year's World Championship really helped him out as well.
Here's Heatley now trying to get away. Briere follows up. Briere stopped. Rebound. They got that too. Nice saves right there by Fabrice Henry and a couple of NHL goal scorers, Briere and Heatley.
But Heatley cannot believe that he didn't put that puck up higher. There's the move by Briere, and then Heatley realizes that, well, not only didn't he get up higher, he didn't really get control of it. It was right there. He got kind of a stick on the glove, not actually on the puck. But he knew that had he been able to kind of snag that puck out of the glove, that upstairs was totally available to him.
Back to the line. Morris tees one up, and that is the third time this period that a Canadian forward has come in almost unchallenged right down Main Street. Rosenthal hits the post. A rifle off the far post and beat Jean-Sébastien Giguère. Maurice Rosenthal, the best player of this French national team, almost open the scoring for them. Here's Canada back in front for Horcoff, looking for the hat trick, and a nice save there by Henry.
The only time that Horcoff had was just to deflect that puck. He didn't have time to really let it set down and then go to work on it from there. But he really hustled to get loosed anyway from his check.
Horcoff's pass into the middle, looking for Glenn Murray, gets by him, down the ice it goes, where icing is going to be the call.
All of a sudden, these last few shifts, Canada's flow on their offensive part of their game has definitely been far better. At the same time, they gave up a scoring opportunity to the French as well, though. But the passing has been much sharper, and their entry into the offensive zone has been crisper.
And we've seen spurts at times over the first game and a half here. It's now a matter of maintaining. I would say that.
Yeah, finding consistency is what they're looking for.
Here's Scott Niedermayer with lots of room to move. Headman pass ahead to Murray. Try to get it ahead to Morrison, who chases after it. Brendan Morrison, who had one of the great scoring chances here in the second period. See if he makes amends for that. I know he wants to, that's for sure. There's Morrison. Puck got past him, and now out comes Bachelet. Benoit Bachelet is 1-on-3, so he'll just throw it in on goal. Dostal following up on the play. Kept in there at the line, drifted in towards the goal. Giguère steers it into the corner where Bachelet is against Niedermayer. Niedermayer gets it to Jay Bouwmeester. Around it comes where Morrow can't reach it from the line through a crowd, and it deflects wide. This is Nicholas Favrin. He can't contain it, and here comes Canada with numbers. It's Morrow on Morrison's wing, and he snaps a shot that was stopped by Henry. And Brendan Morrison with him took the shot. Back to the line. Steos winds up, takes the shot. Rebound. Oh, and they just missed. Justin Williams was looking top shelf, and he just shot it wide. Now Williams battling for possession down low, comes out of it with the puck. Back to the line for Steos again. There's a shot. It's high, well over the net. Back to the line again. Brewer fires a missile. That one's deflected wide.
Canada's got some momentum going here now. They've had really 3 or 4 good shifts, and that's what a coach is looking for behind the bench.
And the assault is on. Justin Williams now. His pass is cut off. And Matt Cook lays the body pretty hard there on Xavier Daramy. Number 17 shaking that off as he was admiring a pass. Near side now. Another check there. This one laid by Patrice Bergeron, who's now got it at center ice. Bergeron tried to find Heatley. Goes off a skate and comes to Laurent Gras. Gras will just flip it ahead, and there's Rosenthal, who came very close for getting France's first goal of the tournament as he hit the post in behind Giguère. That one goes all the way right in on the French goaltender, who thought about playing the puck for just a moment, but covers up and allows us to take another quick break.
Remember experiencing the freedom of your first credit card? Today, there's the RBC Visa Platinum Avion card. Air travel reward points you don't just accumulate. Points you can use whenever you want. To actually fly. It's another way RBC puts you first. RBC Royal Bank. First. For you.
Tomorrow night on TSN, 9:30 Eastern, could be the clincher for the San Jose Sharks, up 3-0 over the Colorado Avalanche. Game 4. The NHL playoffs live here on TSN tomorrow night.
Hard to figure that Western Conference, Greener. The Avalanche make short work of the Dallas Stars, and now the Sharks could be making short work of the Avalanche.
Well, the San Jose Sharks are just a good hockey club. There's a good shot right off of the draw, a good clean win, and Danny Heatley ended up with a great shot right from the top of the circle.
And another good save by Lowry. This game could really be out of reach, but it comes back to the line. He's made a couple of good saves, and Canada has failed to bury a couple of opportunities as well. Now Heatley using the size to get away from Bordeleau, but Bordeleau did poke it away from him, and here's Mitchell now backing up into his own zone. 13 minutes gone here in the second period. 3-0 Canada. Borkoff with a couple and Glenn Murray with one for the Canadians. Rosenthal now leaves it for Pouget, back to the line. Bordeleau's one-timer well wide of the mark. Out it comes, and Ryan Smith's in a race. Here comes Smith. Laurie is way out of his net. This could be a disaster. Oh, and the shot from the point just missed the open cage. Now high slot. Heatley fans on the shot, and Laurie, who's back into his net, covers up. And I don't know if he'll be coming out of his net anymore tonight.
Well, you take your chances when you go that far out of your net. Oh, that was close.
Well, he really did have no choice because Ryan Smith was bearing down on a loose puck, and he was in behind everybody, so I guess he thought he could win the race.
I think that he, in second thought, next time we'll give it to his defenseman.
Yeah.
I'll rely on my defenseman to get back there and try to take Ryan Smith out of the play.
Ballmeister through a crowd. Puck was lying there for just a second before David Dostal came in and scooped it up, and now he's dancing around dangerously in his own end. Lost control. Rob Niedermeyer takes over, gets it back to Friesen. Friesen is pinned, and out it comes. Yeah, perhaps he was a couple of steps into that challenge and thought, you know, this isn't a good idea.
I'll say this much about Fabrice Lonray, though, is that I think he's played a very solid game here. I mean, the shots on net right now are 28-11 in favor of Canada, so you can hardly fault him. And I think it's probably been a pretty good choice by their head coach in putting him in the net today. Cristobal Hewitt may have been a National Hockey League goaltender, but let's face it, I mean, he didn't play well in the first couple of games, and he actually didn't play well the last couple of weeks down the stretch drive for the Los Angeles Kings, nor did Cechmanek. That was one of the Los Angeles Kings' big problems.
Cristobal,
their goaltending let them down.
Yeah, and he allowed 12 goals against in 2 games. 7 of those were on the power play, but yeah, you certainly expected a little bit more out of a guy who played 41 games in the NHL this season.
Well, first, especially when you get scored on the 9 seconds into your first game.
Ballmeister now takes it from Morrison. Here's Ballmeister moving in. Jay Ballmeister gets his own rebound, and Laurie stopped that as well. You can see how Ballmeister, the young defenseman, is so confident stepping up in the play.
Well, I just like Jay Ballmeister going on the offense. It's something I don't think the National Hockey League that he did well enough this year. Maybe the reins were placed on him. I'm not sure with the coaching situation in Florida, but I know this much, is that Jay Ballmeister, when he's on this big ice surface, boy, he likes to wheel with it. I saw him do that in the early going last year for the Florida Panthers, especially in the exhibition games, where I thought, boy, this guy's going to have a terrific year. But he is an outstanding defenseman, at least he's capable of it, and so far, he's pretty impressive on this big ice surface once again.
Canada controlling in the French zone now. Niedermeyer in behind the net. Brewer stepped up in the play and joined the party in front of the goal. Friesen's behind the net now. Jeff Friesen leaves it for his teammate. Back to the line. Here's Brewer. Winds up, takes a shot. And play is whistled down, and the faceoff is coming out of the zone. Did that hit the goaltender in the face? Is that,
I think it did hit the goaltender in the mask.
That results in an immediate...
well, no, it didn't. Ended up hitting Niedermeyer, though, I think. I don't think that puck ended up getting through the long reach. Oh, I'll tell you why it came out. Is because the Canadian player was inside the crease. That's why it was whistled down.
Steo sends it right back in there. Laurie around the far boards. As the Canadians have the Team France pinned right now. They have for the better part of this second period. Some of the best sustained pressure we've seen here so far. Steos tries to fire a shot. It's blocked immediately by Lillian Prunet. Here's Matt Cook now. Tried to get it ahead to Bergeron. Pass was out of his reach, and it ends up being icing.
Believe in legends. The time is now to check out GMC. And during our legendary truck event, get into the new Sierra Nevada edition with $1,000 worth of extras on us. Now, at your local GMC dealer.
You're watching the 68th IIHF World Hockey Championships. 3-0 Canada. France still has yet to score a goal at this World Championship, sending it back to Prague.
They did come close earlier in this second period, Rod Block, as they hit a post in behind Jaguar, but you're right, France has yet to score. Canada has 3 on the board here in the late stages of the second period. Game number 2 for the defending gold medalists from Canada. Looking to repeat for the first time in back-to-back years since 58 and 59. They haven't done it in an awful long time. Ryan Smith in behind the net, pins his man. Puck is loose, however, and the referee standing right there wants him to get it going, which he does. Here's Smith. Carries it out from the corner, now leaves it for Heatley, just out of his reach. Smith back along the sideboards, gets it down low to Heatley. In behind the net now for Briere. Briere setting up shop, waiting for somebody to get in front. Now Briere centers the pass. It's Lyon there right in front. He goes out to get his own rebound, but it's poked out of the zone, and here comes France. This is Chauvel right in front, and that pass looking for Francois Rosenthal, or rather Bordelot, was cut off. Now here's a chance for Briere. He can't shake free. Derek Morris being watched, gets it to Smith. 2-on-1 chance here. Smith over to Briere, but the pass was not a crisp one, and it was knocked aside by the French goaltender. Smith again, centering pass. One-time attempt from Murray, followed up from the point, and both shots were knocked down. Here comes Bordelot. Sebastian Bordelot sends it high off the glass. Niedermeyer chases after it, with Maurice Rosenthal watching him. It comes to the line, but not out. Now Morrison will get it out. Ahead to Brendan Morrow. Ahead now to Scott Niedermeyer, who flicks the shot high over the goal. Met at the far point there by Bomeister. He sends it deep. Murray crashing in after it. Glenn Murray has a goal in this game for Canada. Here's Brendan Morrison with Morrow in front, centering pass, but Morrow is being watched. This line is really yet to click. The M&M line. There's a lot of offensive ability here and a little size and grit as well.
They're still not really reading off of each other very well, though. Some of that also has to do with the tempo of the game.
As Morrison carries it over, his backhand pass attempt was broken up, and we have another French penalty coming up here. Canada will have another power play, their 5th of the hockey game, after that slashing call.
France has been guilty of that a few times, and this man in particular. Brunet seems to like to use that good old two-hander on the Canadian players, and sooner or later he may end up paying for that. Players will take note of the guys out there that end up slashing your teammates' arms. And that's exactly what Brunet did. Previously he did it to Scott Niedermeyer.
Sean Horkoff is out there to take this face-off against Sebastian Bordelot. And Horkoff wins the draw back to his older teammate Steos. Steve Steos winds up, fires a shot right into the shin pads of the French defenseman. Steos gets it back. Canada 1 for 4 so far tonight, or today, on the power play. Cross-ice pass. Setting up shop along the far boards now. Here's Bomeister at the top. He takes a shot. Rebound is sent right through the crease. Bomeister hustling to keep it in. He does so. Friesen. Along with Rob Niedermeyer. Along the far boards now is Horkoff. In front is Friesen. Here's Horkoff. Horkoff to Niedermeyer. Moving in front. Rob Niedermeyer gets a good chance. Puck is still loose. Bodies piled everywhere. The referee finally blows the play down with Francois Rosenthal on top of the puck along with Niedermeyer.
Lots of traffic in front of Henry. Canada, once again, though, trying to work it in so close. When you're that close in on top of a goaltender, you sure don't have much room. And as I pointed out in the Austrian game, and I pointed out earlier today as well, going back to the points at time with it is a better opportunity. So many of these teams just collapse, and especially killing penalties, as the French are doing right now. They'll just collapse right in front of your goaltender. Got to look to the point. And when you look to the point, though, Steve Staios, nobody tries any harder than Steve Staios out there, but he's had difficulties getting that puck through. It ends up being blocked so often on him. It did in the Austrian game, and it has once again in today's game.
Now here's Bachelet, short-handed, winds up. That shot handled easily by Zaguerre. In fact, he left the rebound right there for Niedermeyer to skate away with it. But Benoit Bachelet doing some great penalty-killing work in against two Canadians. Keeps them deep. Now here's Scott Niedermeyer into the final minute of play here in the second period. In it goes. Laurie well out of his net again. Matt Cook is the first Canadian to the puck and gets it back to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer far side now. Has it hop off his stick, and he'll have to get back towards center ice. Ahead to Bergeron. Leaves it for Heatley. Danny Heatley far side now for Morrow. Morrow tried to feather one in the middle. Can't, gets it back, and now he'll drop it off to Morris. Fakes the shot, far side. Bergeron's in front. Gets the shot away, and Laurie made a kick save and then covered up.
Well, the French are quick enough that if you don't shoot that puck the second you get it, then you're likely going to get stick checked. And at the same time, Canada find themselves most times in pretty close in on top of the goaltender. Henry has been pretty good. He's a fairly big guy, and as a result, he covers a fair amount of room out there. There's not an awful lot of space behind him most of the time when Canada ends up with possession of the puck.
Penalty is over. Teams back at even strength. With just 10 seconds to go here in this second period. Morrison now. He'll just send it in there. The final seconds will tick off the clock, and unless Morrow can get it out front in a hurry, no, they ran out of time, and it will be a 3-0 lead that they head into the dressing with.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Canada comes out and plays the third, because Canada has a history in these tournaments of not really having that killer instinct, not running up the score. They've got a 3-0 lead right now, and too often in that second period, they just kind of sat on it. And that's exactly what the coaches don't want you to do. They want you to keep going and continue to score, but so far, Canada haven't really proven it.
Sean Horkoff got his second of the game in the second period. 3-0 Canada after 2. Rod?
Thanks very much, along with Dave Reed back in the studio. That's a good point by Gary Green. You have to run up the score in this game in the relegation round, in this round, because what you don't want to do is finish in second or third, because the other two teams that have beaten this team already have scored 6 goals.
Well, you want to do the plus-minus. If you ever play in a minor hockey tournament, it's the same deal. Plus-minus in goals for, goals against. That's what Canada's got to look at. And Canada tied 2-2 against Austria. Austria beat France 6-0. So Canada's got to get at least 6 goals to make sure that they stay ahead of Austria. And Switzerland beat France 6-0. So Canada can't sit back. They've got to pour it on. They've got to get the offense going. Plus, that gives them a little confidence once you get out of the preliminary rounds.
And that, of course, is when you have to start using your calculator. And, of course, we're not that smart, but we'll try to figure out the tournament format for you as well. In case you were wondering how it works at the Worlds, the top 3 teams from each group, there are 4 groups, will move on to the next round.
And that gives 6 teams from Group D and A, and 6 groups from B and C will merge to play, or will create 2 groups, and then there's top 4 in the medal round. So this is, you can't sit back at any time in this tournament.
Yeah, and that 1 point against Austria could hurt Canada when they go to cross over. These are the standings before today's game against Switzerland. Will play against Austria today. Canada plays Switzerland tomorrow. And that could be a big game, too, for Canada to see how they will finish off the preliminary round. Here's Group A. Czech Republic, obviously the favorite there, the hometown team.
Well, Jaromir Jagr and Martin Ruzicki lighting it up. Ruzicki's got 3 goals so far in 2 games, and Jagr with 4 points in his 2 games.
And over in Group C, Sweden-Russia will play later today, and Russia with a couple of very young, talented players.
Oh, Ovechkin and Kovalchuk have teamed up, and they are flying in their first game. But Sweden, Daniel Alfredsson just got off the plane and scored 3 points in the first game against Japan.
And coaching Russia, by the way, Viktor Tikhonov, the old-timer who will also coach the Olympic team and World Cup team. And here is Group B, and we mentioned this, the United States finished 13th last year. Significant here that they have a good tournament at the Worlds for the Olympics.
Richard Park doing his best with 3 points. But like you said, United States has got to get it going. They've got to get some wins, and they have to end up in the top 8. They don't want to be playing in the preliminary round of the Olympics.
Yeah, they would have to go into what's like a repechage, a qualifying round to get into the Olympics. We should also mention, speaking of the Olympics, the big news from the International Ice Hockey Federation the other day coming out that if the lockout happens in the fall and there is no contract, a collective bargaining agreement contract, that means that NHL players would not be allowed to play in Italy at the Olympics in 2006. What was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, the way I looked at it was this is almost a trump card saying you guys get your hockey going, and it's just more pressure put on both the owners and the Players Association to get the collective bargaining agreement settled and to get hockey going. And I think it's a good move. The more pressure put on both of those two groups, from whether it be the fans or whether it be the International Ice Hockey Federation, the better, because everybody wants to see hockey come the fall.
Yeah, ramifications not only for the National Hockey League, but for the Olympics. And wouldn't that be sad if we didn't see Dream Teamers at the 2006 Winter Olympics? Canada leading 3-0. Sean Horkoff with a couple of goals. Here are the other games today. Sweden, Russia, the big one over in Group C. Japan, Denmark, Switzerland, Austria, Kazakhstan, Latvia. We'll be back in a moment.
These are our laboratories. These are our subjects. Adidas Active for men. Antiperspirant with sweat-activated smart technology. The harder you sweat, the harder it works. Adidas Active. Athletes get it.
Also available, Adidas Active Antiperspirant for women.
In some ways, the company is the family and the family is the company. My son has been working here his whole life and has a great opportunity to build on what was started 5 generations ago.
I feel a great responsibility to all the families who buy Windex or Glade or Pledge or any of our products.
Products that are genuinely useful to the families around the world.
This is a family tradition that I intend to carry on.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
What are you thinking?
Yellow.
Yellow. Yellow dress.
Oh, yellow kitchen.
Yellow kitchen.
Canary yellow.
What about blue?
Not for the kitchen.
My mother's kitchen was blue.
I know, no.
To be continued. What about red?
What color do you think?
It's amazing what you can do when you start with a little imagination and a trip to Canadian Tire.
It feels like a grain border.
Excuse me, how do you make a border?
Oh, let me show you this laser level. Mastercraft Hawkeye laser level. What about the corner? Yeah, the laser beam. It goes around the corners.
This one. Pull down thing.
With all the new and innovative products at Canadian Tire, a fresh new look for your kitchen is just a weekend away.
Could you put that on? That was fast.
Huh? 15 minutes. What can I say? I'm good.
Things just seem to get a little easier when you start Canadian Tire.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Hi. Hey. This kid's potato sack doesn't look regulation to me.
Excuse me?
Well, it's got a wider base. I mean, that's totally unfair to my kid, right? I want to launch a protest. Well, look, it's 2 inches higher, and look at those hand grips. It's not regulation.
Regulation?
Look, you know what else? I want a urine sample from this kid. He looks a little beefy for a 5-year-old. You're going down, buddy.
Canada out shooting France 12-3 that period. The Zamboni really only have to clear one end of the ice. It looks like Canada should get the W here. But again, important to get the goal average up in this game. Let's go to your read and white for the second period.
Well, today's read and white, you look at certain players in each game who are going to do things that pick you up. Matt Cook did it in game 1, and Sean Horkoff is doing it in game 2, having a tremendous second game with 2 goals. But Sean Horkoff, playing for the Edmonton Oilers, has improved his stats every year in the National Hockey League. 15 goals for Edmonton this season with 40 points. Came 4 years at Michigan State. But Sean Horkoff's teamed up with Ryan Smith, just goes to the net, puts the puck exactly where it's supposed to be. And people remember him from Chilliwack Chiefs in '96, where he scored 49 goals and led the league in scoring in the BCHL out in Western Canada. We'll remember the hands on Sean Horkoff. And here he is again, drive the net a little more time, and here you can see the scoring touch. You get your head up, you know where you want to put it, and you put it there. So Sean Horkoff in today's game is really elevated his speed and his level of play, and has got Canada where they are right now against France. And you need more Sean Horkoffs in the game today, playing good, drive the net, shoot the puck, in-your-face hockey.
There is a chance this could be 6-0. You know, again, they could get deep 6, 3 games in a row. But talk about the French goalie a little bit. This game could be 6-7-0 right now for Canada.
Oh, very easily. He's having a fantastic game, and this is something that you want in your team, no matter who you are. You want your goaltender to be the best player, and I'd have to say he's the best player in France so far.
Yeah, especially when he's the backup. Cristobal Hewitt not playing today. We'll be back. Third period on its way from Prague. You're watching the 2004 Worlds on TSN.
So say thanks with the KFC Mom's Meal. Original recipe seasoned chicken, delicious salads, crispy fries, and for dessert, a decadent double fudge chocolate cake. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. The KFC Mom's Meal. There's more in the bucket.
Just in time for Mother's Day. Spring is here, that time of year when you'll do anything for love.
My boyfriend said I was getting fat.
Being Prime Minister, I could just have him murdered.
No matter how embarrassing.
How long have you been in love with Carl?
Do you think everybody knows?
Yes.
Buy Love Actually on DVD or VHS and get $5 off the soundtrack. See inside for mail-in offer.
Why don't you come back and sleep at our place? All we have is one little bed.
Praise the Lord. Love Actually. Own and give the DVD and video today.
Why don't I drink American beer? Why don't I buy a Moroccan snowmobile? Why don't I eat a Japanese hot dog? What did I say? Why don't I wear Italian hip waders? Or Jamaican snowshoes? So, why don't I drink American beer? Because I am Canadian.
So what's it like being raised Italian?
It's everything. I mean, you can't say it's only one thing.
Being Italian is being Italian.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole family thing.
It's,
like the way we talk with our hands.
What else is being raised Italian? A rising crescendo of Italian taste and aromas. Introducing Crescendo Rising Crust Pizza from McCain. Nothing says raised Italian like crescendo.
It's where you come from.
Take me to the consulate.
Sorry, my mistake. Introducing the surprisingly luxurious Chevrolet Epica.
29-year-old woman with 15 minutes tonic-clonic activity.
This isn't the first time she's had this.
A patient returns to the ER.
She's having factitious seizures. She came in the same way last week, and the EEG was negative.
The diagnosis is the same.
Did that look to you like she was faking?
The question is,
I don't want to go to the psych ward. I'm not crazy.
can Abby help her?
What if she has a seizure while she's nursing?
What if I can get her condition under control before she leaves?
ER. Thursday at 10/9 Central on CTV.
Horkoff, the man so far for Canada. Pair of goals, second period, dominated by Team Canada. They have outshot France 29-12 so far. So are you a minor hockey coach? I know Dave Reed is.
Yes, I am.
You are.
I'm proud to say I'm a minor hockey coach, but they've got some great drills on here. You just got to watch. You don't want to bring some of these drills into the young kids. I've only got 9 and 10-year-olds. Fantastic drills. You can check through this site all day, and you can lose yourself in it if you enjoy being a minor hockey coach.
Right on. Go to hockeycanada.ca and be a better coach like Dave Reed with Coaches Club. We'll be back. Third period next.
You can't protect it, but now you can fix it with Duplicolor's new Scratch Fix 2-in-1 Touch-Up Paint. The innovative ballpoint applicator keeps the factory-match paint flowing evenly, while the tapered brush is perfect for larger chips. Get your color of Scratch Fix 2-in-1 exclusively at Canadian Tire, because you're going to need it.
Tough shave? New Neutrogena Razor Defense Face Lotion with soy and aloe. It instantly soothes dry skin after shaving and prevents damage caused by dryness. Defend yourself with new Neutrogena Razor Defense.
Get your skis shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move you when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya.
Sweet.
Juicy fruit. Sweet.
Find what you're looking for, locally or nationally. Superpages.ca, your phone book online.
Welcome back as we're set to begin the third period. Canada nursing a 3-0 lead over France. They opened with a 2-2 tie 2 days ago against Austria. At the World Championship since 1931, Canada has a 5-1 record against France. The last time they met was in 1995, and France actually beat Canada 4-1 in Stockholm, but it should be noted that Team Canada did not have any NHLers on the team that year. That was the year of the lockout, and they could not have NHLers over for insurance reasons. There's a shot from a sharp angle, stopped by J.S. Giguère. And the previous meeting was in 1992 in Bratislava. Canada won that one, but only by a score of 4-3. And all the other meetings were well back in the 1930s. Penalty coming up here, and I believe it's going to be Horkoff, the guy who's got a couple of goals.
No, I don't think so.
Is it against France?
Well, maybe to both of them, but I thought it was the French player that was going to get it because he really interfered with Horkoff. He was holding him going all the way in. Watch, starts right here. Horkoff is just trying to get to the puck first. Rouget ended up holding Horkoff, and that's why he's off, and that's why Canada will also be on the power play. They've had lots of power play opportunities in today's game.
Yeah, 1 for 5 so far. Christian Bourget, he does take the penalty. Canada goes on the attack again, looking to add to their lead. And as the guys back in the studio pointed out, goals for and against could be important. Fairly important as this tournament progresses. Switzerland, the next best team in this group, already has 6 goals for, and they play later again today against Austria.
Saw the guys right there, and Jay Bouwmeester in particular, he was having some great difficulty controlling that puck and keeping it in. He ended up having to pull it outside of the blue line. And the ice has been a factor for Team Canada and for France in this game. good example of the softness of the ice and how difficult it is to control the puck. So when that happens, and again, it's the same conditions for both teams, obviously, but when that happens, you got to get rid of that puck quickly. So make a quick pass, keep that puck moving at all times.
This new building they have here in Prague is beautiful. It's fantastic. Great sight lines, very steep seating up high, so you're still close to the ice. Got two great club sections down at either end. But the ice is the key when you're playing hockey, obviously.
And give them credit. They did get it finished on time because there was some great concern over those last 6 or 7 months.
No, there was no Athens-type disasters looming. They got it done, and it's open. And it was packed in here for all the Czech games, that's for sure. And it will continue to be so. Tickets have been gone for their games for months. Back to the line. Heatley controls it, gets it to Scott Niedermayer with room. Niedermayer shoots. Nice stop there by Lowry off the blocker. And he's upset with Ryan Smith parking himself right in front of the goal. Now here's Heatley. One-timer, tipped by Smith, gets the rebound. Both shots were stopped in close by Fabrice Lowry.
Heatley ended up breaking his stick and had to go to the bench for a new one. Heatley had 5 shots in the first 2 periods.
Here's Patrice Bergeron dancing in. Bergeron at the last second was spun off the puck. Otherwise, he was in cold. Just 25 seconds to go in the man advantage. Good chance there off the points from both Niedermayer and Heatley. And now here comes Danny Heatley, watched by Francois Rosenthal. Centers it in for Daniel Briere, who has to spin away. Now he moves in. Briere try to get it down low to Smith. It bounces out to Brewer. Eric Brewer with a wrist shot, and that deflects just wide of the mark on the far side. Here's Heatley again as the penalty expires. Brewer winds up, takes the shot right on. It's lying there. Rebound. And they couldn't find it. It went right through the skates of Patrice Bergeron. Otherwise, he had a wide open net to put it into.
Excellent job by Eric Brewer, though, of making sure that he found a way to get that puck to the net on 2 occasions. The other defenseman for Team Canada will take a lesson from that. Jay Boatmeister's done a pretty good job of that today as well. Steve Staios, and again, I credit Steve Staios with his great effort always. He's the type of defenseman, though, back in the point of the power play, he just wants to drive that puck right straight through a goaltender. But unfortunately today, he's had a difficult time because his shot's been blocked so often. The key to it from the points is just getting that puck through the maze of players. Getting it to the net.
Mitchell wound up on that shot, broke his stick, so he's backing up without a stick. And now he'll get an opportunity to get some new lumber as Friesen comes back the other way. Jeff Friesen's in there, couldn't get a shot away as the defenseman Arnaud Briand was in on the play, and it looks as though there's going to be a penalty called on that play, and the French player is headed towards the box, and it's going to be another Canadian power play almost immediately.
The captain of the French team just could not control the speed of Jeff Friesen, and he knew that he was beat, so as a result he just ended up hooking him from behind, knocked Friesen down, and Friesen really wasn't able to get off the shot that he might have been able to get off previously. Rand ends up in the penalty box, and Canada continues with their practice on the power play. That's really what it's been for them today.
There's been a lot of them. This is their 7th of the hockey game. Morrison gets it back to the line. Here's Derek Morse. Jay Boatmeister down low, try to feed it in on goal, bounces right out to Sebastian Bordelot and out.
That was a pretty good example of what I was talking about. Jay Boatmeister is extremely good at just getting that puck away. He doesn't wind up and try to blast it through. He just tries to put eyes in that puck, have it see its way right straight through to the crease.
Back to Derek Morris. He winds up, pulls it back, gets it to Murray. Glenn Murray shot right on, and Lowry made a good save on Glenn Murray. That's position A for him.
I talked at the end of the second period about Canada really not having that killer instinct. There was a great opportunity by Murray from a perfect scoring position. But 2 things occur in the World Championships over the number of years that I've been doing it. That one, Canada really doesn't have that killer instinct to put a lower competition away. They end up with that 3-goal lead as they've got right now, but they don't really end up squeezing it and trying to really put 6 or 7 or 8 by a goaltender, but at the same time, they always end up against a hot goaltender, a goaltender that plays the game of his life.
And we saw it a little bit last year as well. Niedermayer now at the line, 1 minute gone in the power play. Horkoff moves in, gets it to Cook, centering pass, had Williams in front, and it goes right through the crease area, bounces off the boards and comes out. Niedermayer into the middle, here's Horkoff. Scott Niedermayer Shovels it into the corner. Laurie out of his net to handle it. It takes a hop right to Matt Cook. Cook back to Scott Niedermeyer. To Matt Cook, getting some power play time. He goes for the front of the net, and that pass was knocked down. Horkoff's in there. Allows Williams to gather up the loose puck and retain possession. Justin Williams had nowhere to shoot, so they get it back to Niedermeyer. To Horkoff. Here's Sean Horkoff now. Eric Brewer has stepped up and parked himself in front. France read the play, and they get it out with just 15 seconds to go in the man advantage.
And I talk about goaltenders that play the games of their life, or the game of their life, because it's against Canada, and it's such a measuring stick for people who really judge their play and how much money they're going to make even back in the French league.
Steve Stales finally gains the zone and dumps it in as the penalty expires. Team's back at even strength now, and France comes out with it. Still 3-0. Goes up in the air there as Patrice Bergeron lays the body. Sebastian Bordelot can't get much further, just snaps one in there. Bordelot has not done much against a lot of guys he's probably played against in the past. And out with it now is Mitchell. Starts the rush by giving it to Danny Heatley, who will just flip it ahead and then head for the line change. Christian Pouget now with it for France. Near side along the boards, they get it at center ice. Zwick will try to get it to Morta, and he can't find it in his feet. Briere with the lead pass looking for Rob Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer pushes it ahead to Friesen. Friesen trying to get away from the check, and they keep it into the line. Back it goes down low for Rob Niedermeyer. Friesen trying to poke it ahead in front. Now they get it out there. Here's Horkoff circling back. Sean Horkoff back behind the net for Friesen. Moves out, centers it, and it's not over the line. Just about every bit of the goaltender is, but Laurie keeps it out.
You like simple better than complicated. You like quick better than slow. So use Speed Pass to pay at Esso. It's fast. There's no fumbling with cash or cards, and it links to a credit card account you already have. To get your free Speed Pass, call us toll-free or visit speedpass.ca. You'll like how easy it is to get where you need to be. How do we know? We're drivers too.
Esso rewards youngsters across Canada with most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved player medals, and reinforces team commitment with certificates of achievement for each member. Esso, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
Last time France and Canada played at the Worlds, France won 4-1. That was an era, though, when Canada did not use NHL players. Canada leads 3-0. We send it to Prague.
Face off in the France zone. Morrison in ahead, can contain the puck, and it comes out where Murray rolls off a check and tried to get it to Niedermeyer. Out of his reach, he'll chase it back. No Roberto Luongo today. He gets the day off. Marc Denis is the backup. They've got 3 goaltenders here, all French Canadians, all of which could be a starter. But with the season that Luongo has had, I don't think there's any doubt who the #1 is. And of course, he is the incumbent, having performed so well in the gold medal game a year ago. And Luongo really was the backup last year as well, behind Sean Burke, until an injury forced him into duty in the big game. Morrow winds up, takes a shot. It's deflected high over the net. Face-off coming up.
And Morrow's a little frustrated because he saw that Morrison was standing right in front of the net. Brendan Morrison was standing in front of the net all alone for a change. But Morrow just couldn't find a way to get it through, so he was hoping that that big slap shot of his would end up at least hitting the goaltender with a rebound coming out to Morrison. That just didn't occur.
Well, as we near the midway mark of this third period, I guess if you're a French hockey fan, you're wondering if they're going to be able to score a goal before they have to go home. They still will have one game. Now, this will be their 3rd game of the preliminary round, and so they are still scoreless, as they've been shut out 6-0 twice, and they're being shut out right now 3-0. Well, Canada would certainly like to bury a few more of their opportunities because they've created an awful lot of good ones. Cook in on the forecheck with other teammates following up. France finally beats that and gets it out. down the ice.
Well, I'll go back to my point about Fabrice Henry, and it's happened before for Canada. They see goaltenders that play outstanding hockey because it's against Canada. And so often those players are then rewarded going back to their country in paychecks.
Bechelay with a shot right on the mark. Jaguar stared him down and keeps it out. It remains 3-0 Team Canada.
Kids don't always make the best choices. But at McDonald's, every choice is good. They can choose their favorite Happy Meal food and a drink like milk or juice. Try new apple slices with caramel dip. McDonald's.
Final game of the preliminary round tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, Canada against Switzerland. The Swiss coached by Canadian Ralph Kruger. Tomorrow from the Worlds on TSN.
4 o'clock local time here. A little easier to take for the players. Every one of the teams has to play one of these nooners. And never mind the players, Greener. How about the studio crew back there and the Hardy fans as you go west in Canada?
Oh, Rod and Dave like those 2 o'clock wake-up calls.
I got one of those last night for some reason.
By mistake.
Yeah, that was a barrel of laughs, that one.
You have to learn Czech. That's your problem, Dave.
Yes.
If you put in a wake-up call, you have to be able to speak Czech.
Well, I don't care what language you're talking about. 7 o'clock does not sound like 4 o'clock. Oh, well. Out to center ice it comes. Danny Heatley trying to poke it ahead to Ryan Smith. He can't dance around his man, and that is number 13, Jonathan Zwickel, starting it around the boards the other way. Zwickel scoops it up now. He's 1-on-3, however, so he'll just flip it in on goal. Jaguar will leave it.
And, folks, you know there's not much happening on the ice when we start talking about wake-up calls.
Yeah, the game has not had a tremendous amount of flow today. This is not one for the video vaults, but you get these games at the Worlds. It's all part of the long process.
Well, I'll go back to the point again, is that the goal differential really never has meant much to Canada. Yeah, they know about it, but they don't have that killer instinct. They don't end up running up the score and making it 10-0, 12-0, as they could well have done here today. But at the same time and time again, they run into hot goaltenders who know full well that if they play well against Canada, and believe me, if Henry ends up...
Here's a chance for Canada right in front. Horkoff hits the post, looking for his own rebound.
Well, I'll finish my story now. If Henry ends up continuing to make saves like he has made today, he will end up going back to France, and he'll end up getting a raise on his contract next year. Now, whether that's $35,000, $40,000 that he makes right now, they don't make a lot playing in the French league by any means, not like other countries where they make $200,000, $300,000. But for Henry, he'll end up benefiting financially by playing well. We've seen that over the years with the lesser countries. We've also seen it with the more powerful countries, with guys like Tommy Salo and Kip Kristoff and Czechmanik and others have played so well against Canada that they end up then really being rated by the scouts and say, hey, wow, you know something, they played well during the regular season in their league, but now they're playing against the great shooters of the National Hockey League, and they played really well, so they can play in the National Hockey League. That's not the case here today, but it has been the case over the years where my goaltenders that have played well in this tournament and played well, especially against Canada, have earned opportunities in the National Hockey League.
Well, that killer instinct you talked about, Greener. Horkoff had a little too much of it as he went for the loose puck. You know, the French goaltender, he takes the penalty, and France sets up on the power play. Into the corner it goes. Cocu trying to get it away from Scott Niedermayer. Now Boucher took a stick up high, and there's another penalty about to be called against Team Canada. Dave Bouwmeester's going to go. Oh, no, it wasn't Bouwmeester's stick. Check that. It was Scott Niedermayer right there.
Bouwmeester just ended up clearing that puck out of possible danger, but Niedermayer is the one that tabbed with the high sticking penalty. So Canada will get an opportunity to do something I don't think they've done in this tournament so far, and that's play 5-on-3.
Now, this will be the first time we've seen that this year. Rob Niedermeyer is out there to take the draw. Eric Brewer and Bomeister are the two defensemen. And right off the draw, Bomeister, or rather Brewer, gets it towards Bomeister, who sends it down the ice. Two-man advantage for a minute 16. Team France still looking for their first goal. Rosenthal to Pouget. Over to the far point, that's Sebastian Bordelot. Pouget winds up, fakes the shot. Rosenthal to Bordelot. He'll take the shot, and it goes into the shin pads of Niedermeyer. Sebastian Bordelot would love to get one here. Pouget down low to Rosenthal. Back to Bordelot. Tight box they got going here. Pouget takes the shot. It's deflected and cleared by Canada.
France can't find a way to get that puck at Giguère. Shots on net right now are 35-15 in favor, of course, of Canada.
They were throwing it around there nicely, but they couldn't get the puck through to Giguère. 36 seconds to go in the two-man advantage. They'll start again. On the move is Bordelot. Stops up at the boards there, gets it back to Pouget. Pouget winds up, pulls it back, and now he'll get it back at the top of the circle. Here's Bordelot again to Pouget. Bordelot and Pouget throwing it back and forth. Rosenthal had it hop off his stick. In behind the goal is Dostal chasing after it. Battle for it along the far boards, and Brendan Morrison pokes it loose, and now he's racing after it, but instead he'll turn back and head for the bench. Two-man advantage is now over. It's still a power play for 30 seconds now. Dostal being watched by Brewer. Bechollet had it swiped away. Now Horkoff turns and looks for it. He's fresh legs out of the box, and he's with Morrow. Brendan Morrow stops up. Morrow moves into the slot, feathers one in there for Brewer on the back end. He centers it, and it comes out in front. Back the other way they come is Briand. Briand with help takes the shot, stopped by Giguère. Into the corner it goes, high off the glass, kept in by Bachelet. Canada has done it. They've killed off the two-man advantage. Both power plays are over, and it's still 3-0. Teams back at even strength. Here's Scott Niedermeyer all by himself. Niedermeyer right in, and a nice stop there by Henry.
Gutsy play by Scott Niedermeyer, going right to the net with that puck.
Here comes Daramy, Xavier Daramy, number 17. Laurent Gras now trying to find it in the corner. He can't. Justin Williams goes cross ice. And it's sent in by Bergeron. Here's Williams now. Rolls off the check from Daramy. He'll chase it in behind the net against Carl DeWolf. Bergeron now skates out with it, knocked off his feet. Willie Mitchell trying to keep it into the line.
We got another slashing penalty coming up.
Giguère's headed for the bench because the delayed penalty was called. And Canada will be on the power play when we come back.
Since 1954, RBC's had mortgage specialists to help you with the right mortgage. The difference is, today they come to you because you've got lots of things to do. Another way RBC puts you first. RBC Royal Bank, first for you.
Still a goose egg for France. Here's our game story brought to you by Chevrolet for all life's roads.
Don Horkoff with 2 goals and a penalty. Rob Niedermeyer 2 assists on a couple of goals. And the shots on goal, Canada 35, France 15.
Will France break the goose egg? Let's send it back to Prague.
Right now, Canada is going to try to add to their lead on the power play. Xavier Daramy was the guilty party. And another power play opportunity for Team Canada, the 8th of the hockey game. Heatley keeps it into the line, gets it to Scott Niedermeyer. Here's Niedermeyer, tries to flip it towards the goal. It's deflected up high off the glass, around the boards, and not kept in by Heatley. Niedermeyer now in a race over there with Francois Rosenthal. Bordelot following up, almost got away. And Heatley will set up. Leaves it for Scott Niedermeyer. Ahead to Daniel Briere. Briere just fires it in there, takes a bounce off the boards. Laurie out of his net to handle it, met by Niedermeyer. Gets it to Briere. Briere with lots of time into the corner for Ryan Smith. The Canadian captain leaves it for Briere. Back to the line for Niedermeyer. Here's Briere again, top of the circles, down low. Ryan Smith, patented move, and he can't beat Laurie.
Henry has done a good job of making sure he's taken the lower half of that net away, knowing full well that Canada is going to play you in tight. They're going to really challenge the net, and they're going to be right in on top of that paint an awful lot. Heatley's been there, but nobody has been there more than Ryan Smith in this game.
Brendan Morrison is able to get that draw back, but they have to chase it towards the near boards. Derek Morris pokes at it. Goes in behind the goal and into the near corner. Morrison can't get to it. Glenn Murray does. Lost his balance for just a moment, and that will cost them possession as down the ice it goes with under a minute to go in their most recent power play. Here now is Brewer. Eric Brewer will flip it ahead. Takes a bounce off the boards. Murray following up on the play, but France is going to clear this one as well. You're going to dump it in. You got to get there first against these guys. Long pass up ahead to Brendan Morrow. That was an ill-advised headman pass looking for Murray a little ahead of that play. Jaguar will leave it for Morris. Here comes Derek Morris now, the dying seconds of this power play. Again with the dump in. Taken off the skate of Rob Niedermeyer. He was thinking of leaving it there for Friesen. Instead, he continued on. It's back to the line. Bouwmeester takes a shot. There's Harkov. Oh, he had the wide open net for the hat trick. And at the last second, the French defenseman broke up the play. Blocked the shot. Bouwmeester down. Over to Rob Niedermeyer dancing in. He snaps one just wide of the mark. Penalty is over. Team's back at even strength. As Harkov came very close to completing the hat trick. Less than 5 minutes to go now in the hockey game. Canada's been in firm control for most of the way, certainly since the beginning of the second period for sure. Play is whistled down. Time for another break in Prague.
Go get that donkey. Hey, you're going the wrong way. Come on. We got slaughtered at musical chairs. We practiced this at home a million times. We are losing. I can't believe I missed Pilates for this. Hitch your own ride home, Missy.
Again, we are back tomorrow. Canada against Switzerland. Switzerland plays Austria today. Canada on its way to victory. Will they keep their shutout intact? Here's Dave and Gary.
Well, they got about 4.5 minutes to go, Rod, to decide whether or not Jean-Sébastien Giguère does indeed get the shutout. The goaltender who plays for Team Canada head coach Mike Babcock, of course, in Anaheim, who had that Cinderella run last year, won the Conn Smythe a year ago. And actually, their victory, Greener, or their series win against Detroit in the first round did Team Canada a huge favor by knocking out the Red Wings, because Chris Draper and Kirk Maltby were huge parts of that win. Here's Matt Cook dancing in, gets a good wrist shot away.
Well, that's the 38th shot on Landry in today's game, but at the same time, you're talking about J.S. Giguère. He's done everything that has been asked of him today. He's had 17 shots. He's kept them all out. Landry, on the other hand, by the way that he's played, it wasn't about to let a shot like that go in. He has played extremely well for this hockey club, and if they can hold on for a 3-0 loss, then he will, in fact, be a big hero for hockey fans, limited as they might be back in France.
Yeah, it's not a big topic of conversation around the old water coolers. Hockey.
Not around the Eiffel Tower, you don't think?
No, I don't think so. In fact, I know so. Speaking with a French journalist before the game, they said they're building. Here's Daniel Briere. Centers a pass, was looking for Morris in heavy traffic.
I think I've been here at some of these tournaments over 3 decades, and they've been building for a long time, I'll tell you.
I was being kind, all right? I was just trying to be polite.
But you can't be critical of their players today by any means, because they've skated well, they've checked well. And if you can skate in this game, then you've got a good chance at least staying competitive. But they have skated well, checked well, but they really get out-muscled in most situations. And, hey, look, if they had great puck handling skills, if they were great shooters, we got a penalty coming up, by the way, to Team Canada. But if they were great shooters and puck handlers and were really strong on the puck, they'd be playing in the National Hockey League. And that they're not. And there you see why Danny Heatley has gone to the penalty box. Tripping was the call.
And it's interesting, you know, a lot of the countries that really aren't proven hockey nations, more and more as years goes by, you see the odd player and the development systems kicking in. I think of Thomas Vanek, who plays for Austria, who's a first-round draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres. He was so last year, and you can see the skill of the young player in the game the other day.
And Polk as well?
Yeah, Thomas Polk, that's right. Wasn't drafted, but signed by the New York Rangers and played 6 games with them. So there are other countries that are developing younger players.
That's certainly good for the National Hockey League because they need more of those countries developing players.
Right in front as France is running out of time here to score what could be their only goal here in the preliminary round before they head to the relegation round. That's where they're destined now. Kept into the line there, sent to the near boards for Dostal. Down low now, they carry it out of the corner. That was Alain Carriou stepping up and keeping it in. There's a shot and a great save by Giguère. He robbed him. Briand with a great shot. And now he's got it in front. Gets it back to the line for Béchelet. He'll steer it into the corner. Carriou now flips it high off the glass. Brewer waiting for it to come off the boards. It finally does. He shovels it out. What a stop by J.S. Giguère. They just got a good look at what an NHL goaltender can do to you on a prime scoring chance like that. That one probably goes in back at home 10 out of 10 times in France. In on goal, Giguère will cover up with 26 seconds to go in the French power play.
Well, for Canada, it's kind of back to the drawing board right now. Here you'll see the opportunity. Giguère just turned aside. But I say back to the drawing board because, and I'm just playing coach here, but I think you'll see that Mike Babcock will switch some lines up. I really don't think that he has found the chemistry in some of those lines today.
Well, look at this short-handed Horkov again with a great rush as he'd like to complete that hat trick. The last hat trick, by the way, scored by Canada at the Worlds. You don't have to go back far. Heatley had one last year against the Czech Republic. Over the line they come. Power play is over. Down the ice it goes. And with the penalty over, this is going to be icing. With just over a minute to play here in Canada's second game, a game that they will win.
You gonna let me go back and play coach for a little bit here?
Sure.
You know, I think that Mike Babcock will probably keep Morrison and Murray together. He'll probably keep Briere and Heatley together, and Horkoff and Smith. But besides that, then, I think you're going to see him doing some juggling because I don't really think that Morrison and Murray have connected well enough today out there, nor did they in the game against Austria. So now's the time that Mike Babcock and his coaching staff will probably do some tinkering with lines. The Swiss are definitely going to be much tougher competition than either of these two teams, and we've got a penalty coming up to France.
Yeah, and you're right about that Morrison-Murray line. We pointed that out earlier, but boy, he'd like to see that line click. He really wants to see those guys connect. He likes the look of that line on paper, but it's played on ice, and you're right, they haven't clicked like they need to.
Williams goes down, and somebody that's been pretty familiar to the penalty box today, Lillian Prunet, ends up going off there once again.
So France will finish off this game, killing off a penalty with just 56 seconds to go on the clock. And Canada will now rest up for a 4 o'clock local start tomorrow against Switzerland, a team that will provide a much stiffer test than the one they received today. Eric Morris at the line, goes far side for Brewer. Eric Brewer flips it towards the goal. Smith was there. There's Horkoff. We'll watch for him. John Horkoff with 2 in the game. Now he goes down low to Smith. Back to Horkoff. A lot of traffic in front, including Glenn Murray. Quick shot. He was looking top shelf, and he didn't miss by much.
Murray's smart enough just to get loose there. He just backed off of the crease and got the puck.
And just snapped it. Wasn't on his stick long. Smith now over to Horkoff. He lost control of it, and out comes France. This is Francois Rosenthal, who's played a lot because he's been killing a lot of penalties. Sharp angle shot from Sebastian Bordelot, stopped easily by Giguère. 10 seconds to go. Maybe time for one last shot, and they're not going to get it. So Team Canada, after their opening tie with Austria, shuts out France. They win this one 3-0.
Well, the Canadians will take this win today, and they'll put it in the bank, but at the same time, they won't be overly pleased with their performance. There was just not the consistency there that the coaching staff were hoping for.
They get the win on the board, however, and now set their sights on the Swiss. Back to Rod.
Thank you, gents. Let's go to the TSN turning point. First period, the 3 M's at work, Dave Reed.
The 3 M's that were doing a great job down deep. And this is what the game is supposed to be played like. Work the puck down deep, get it in front. Glenn Murray getting the first goal of the game, but 8.5 minutes in, 8:52 actually into the game. And the first goal ended up being the game-winning goal, but that was definitely the TSN turning point.
A cash donation will be made on behalf of TSN to the Coaching Association of Canada, whose mission is to enhance the experiences of all Canadian athletes through quality coaching. Speaking of coaching, what will Mike Babcock say to his team now? Obviously, you get a win, but clearly this team has not looked like the defending world champions yet.
No, well, not yet. They definitely look like a bunch of individuals thrown together and put on red jerseys today. And that's going to take a little bit, but you don't want it to take too long. You've got to start getting guys in sync with each other. Don't be surprised if you see Patrice Bergeron and Glenn Murray together, a couple ex-teammates. Glenn Murray, you got to remember, is a shooter. He needs a guy to set him up, and Bergeron can do that. I think you'll see a few changes like Gary Green was talking about. They'll leave pairs together, but they will break a few players up.
Remember World Cup soccer a few years ago when Team Canada made it, and there was this big Vegas betting line if Canada would ever score a goal? Well, they never did, and neither did France in this preliminary round. 180 minutes of goalless hockey.
Well, Cristobal Hewitt said that they would get beat, and they did get beat. I don't think he said they weren't going to score, but France did keep it close. They didn't get beat by 6. They cut that in half, so that's one positive if you want to look at it in France's side.
Yeah, you're seeing international hockey teams throughout the world, though, getting closer and closer to the powerhouse teams, as we've seen with Denmark last year and Austria and France today and Switzerland tomorrow for Team Canada. Now 1-0-1 at the Worlds.
The 2004 IIHF World Hockey Championships on TSN are brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud to support Canadian hockey through sponsorship of the World Hockey Championships. By Mitchum M3. So effective, you could skip a day. And by Gatorade. Is it in you?